Chapter 1747. I won't beat around the bush. The Chamber of Commerce wants to make a deal with Grandmaster Fong. The middle-aged man went straight to the point and said domineeringly, "The deal is very simple. The Chamber of Commerce will do everything possible to help Grandmaster Fong win first place in the Thousand Refinements Conference. After the deal is done, we will give you a King Grey Dao artifact. All Grandmaster Fong needs to do is give the Golden Crow Silkworm to the Chamber of Commerce." "Help me win first place? And a King Grey Dao artifact?" The tone of this middle-aged man from the Chamber of Commerce was not small, which surprised Su Fong. Glancing at the young follower beside the middle-aged man, Su Fong's deep eyes flashed with a cold light. He said indifferently, "I'm sorry, but I'm determined to get the Golden Crow Silkworm. I won't exchange it with a divine artifact. The Chamber of Commerce should find someone else." "You want to win first place without a powerful force as your backing? Since you've found Grandmaster Fong, I'm sure you'll agree to this deal." The middle-aged man seemed to have expected Su Fong to have such a reaction. He raised the corner of his mouth and revealed a disdainful expression. Su Fong sneered, "No matter how generous the Chamber of Commerce's offer is, I won't agree. Do as you please. Since you refuse a toast, we'll make you drink a forfeit." The young man beside the middle-aged man suddenly spoke. A monstrous death chi burst out and instantly enveloped Su Fong, shackling Su Fong. Swoosh! The young man condensed 2 seals with the death chi and inserted them into Su Fong's divine aperture and dantian. "You're the resurrection cultivator." Su Fong couldn't resist and was shackled by the young man. His face was full of fear and shock. "It's your honor to be able to become this young master's slave. Listen to my orders obediently and get the Golden Crow Silkworm for me. When the time comes, I'll remove the shackles for you and give you benefit. Otherwise, wait for your primordial spirit and golden core to be slowly eroded by the death chi. In the end, your life force will be completely devoured." The young man said coldly, as if he was a death god looking at an ant. "You dare to have designs on the Golden Crow Silkworm? Are you not afraid of being discovered by the Jiang clan?" Su Fong was both shocked and angry. "It's not just the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. The entire great world will be the world of resurrected experts. What does a mere Jiang clan amount to? If you don't want to die, then do as I say." The young man's voice was cold and domineering. Then, he ignored Su Fong and left the equipment forging hall with the middle-aged cultivator from the Chamber of Commerce. "Young master of the Clear Cloud Immortal Sect, I didn't expect to meet you in the ancient battlefield of immortals and devils. Moreover, you even have designs on the Golden Crow Silkworm." Looking at the backs of the young man and the middle-aged cultivator, the panic and fear on Su Fong's face turned into disdain and ridicule. About a year later, a flying boat landed outside the Zhu clan. This flying boat was pulled by 2 incomparably huge ancient flood dragons. It was luxuriously decorated and emitted a domineering aura. A golden flag fluttered in the wind, and the pattern on the flag was the Jiang clan's emblem. It turned out that the big shot of the Jiang clan, Jiang Yin, had specially sent this flying boat to take Su Fong to the Jiang clan to participate in the refinement conference. They didn't expect Su Fong to be so respected by the big shot of the Jiang clan. Everyone in the Zhu clan was shocked and felt honored at the same time. Su Fong, accompanied by Madame Zhu, took the flying boat and went straight to the Jiang clan. Although the area of the incineration domain was not large and the distance between the Zhu clan and the Jiang clan was not far, and the flying boat was as fast as lightning, it had to pass through many dangers on the way. They encountered countless big goblin and resurrected big goblin. The flying boat flew back and forth for more than a year before arriving at the Jiang clan. The first thing that appeared in front of Su Fong was an endless sea of magma. From time to time, pillars of magma would soar into the sky with astonishing momentum. In the sky above the sea of magma, there were floating mountains and islands made of material. There were palaces and pavilions built on them. The Jiang clan actually lived on this sea of magma. In the central region of the Sea of Magma, there was a giant mountain that was 10,000 zhang tall. It gave people the feeling that the sky would be shaken. The mountain was scarlet and had a majestic aura. At the top of the giant mountain, there was an ancient tree that was 100 zhang tall. It gave off an ancient aura. The tree trunk and leaves were scarlet like fire. It was the legendary divine mulberry tree. Su Fang could sense the incomparably pure natural spiritual qi of heaven and earth from far away with his perfect perfection ability. There were countless powerful fire-type big goblin and monsters hidden in the magma. When the flying boat flew above the magma, Su Fang immediately sensed that the natural spiritual qi of heaven and earth was not only filled with the power of fire. From the giant mountain in the center and the magma below, there was also a pure yang qi. The yang qi in Su Fang's yang meridian immediately became active. The dragon bird in the heaven and earth Tao palace also became incomparably excited and wanted to rush out of the palace. It's probably because the magma here contains pure yang qi. That's why there's a saying that the sun comes from here. If I cultivate the 9 yang transformation here, even without the golden crow silkworm, I might be able to successfully form the 54th yang meridian, Su Fang thought to himself. Rumble. When the flying boat passed by a patch of magma, a stream of magma rushed out from below and shot into the air. Then, it crashed down with a loud bang, creating a rain of fire in the air. Su Fang took advantage of the distraction of the Jiang clan members on the flying boat to activate the divine aura of destiny to conceal the dragon bird's qi. Then, he released the dragon bird, who plunged into the magma below and disappeared without a trace. The magma here contained the divine aura of the sun. The dragon bird devoured the pure yang qi in the magma, which was greatly beneficial to its growth. The flying boat landed on an island not far from the giant mountain where the divine mulberry tree was located. The Jiang clan members brought Su Fang and Madame Zhu to a pavilion specially used to receive guests. There were still a few years before the Myriad Refinements Conference. After settling down in the pavilion, Su Fang continued to ponder the way of refining. At the same time, he also absorbed the pure yang qi to cultivate the 9 yang transformation. Madame Zhu left early and returned late. She went everywhere to inquire about the Myriad Refinements Conference. At the same time, she also made friends with important figures of other clans and factions to obtain benefits for the Zhu clan. 3 days later, Su Fang, who was cultivating in the pavilion, was alarmed by a Jiang clan worker. Your Master Fang of the Zhu clan? Your concubine offended young Master Jiang Wei at the sun-viewing pavilion. If you don't go now, her life will be in danger. After saying this, the odd-job worker swaggered away. Concubine? Su Fang was startled. He immediately thought of Madame Zhu, who had been mistaken for his concubine. As for young Master Jiang Wei's name, Su Fang had heard of him like thunder. Jiang Wei was a direct descendant of the Jiang clan. His talent in refining was unparalleled among the younger generation of the Jiang clan. Not only was he the #1 disciple of the Jiang clan, but he was also known as the #1 refining genius in the incineration flame region. He was also the best candidate to win the Myriad Refinements Conference. Madame Zhu had just arrived at the Jiang clan. With the Zhu clan's current power, she could not wait to curry favor with young Master Jiang Wei. How could she offend him? Su Fang hurried to the sun-viewing pavilion. This island was specially used by the Jiang clan to receive guests. The sun-viewing pavilion was a restaurant where guests gathered. From upstairs, one could clearly see the divine mulberry tree, hence the name. Su Fang's expression changed slightly when he saw the scene upstairs. Traces of coldness seeped out of his deep eyes. More than 100 young cultivators were gathered in the sun-viewing pavilion. All of them were wearing bright clothes and were extraordinarily handsome. They were all refining geniuses who came to the incineration flame region. Madame Zhu stood in the middle of the hall. Her face and chest were drenched with wine. There was also a clear palm print on her face. Many young cultivators sat in a circle in the hall, as if they were watching a show. They pointed at Madame Zhu and mocked her from time to time. Madame Zhu's body trembled. Her eyes were filled with anger and humiliation. Su Fang's appearance in the hall immediately attracted everyone's attention. These refining geniuses looked at Su Fang with disdain, mockery, curiosity, and doubt. Su Fang came to Madame Zhu's side and asked in a deep voice, "What happened?" Before Madame Zhu could speak, a smug voice was heard. Young Master Jiang Wei kindly let this lowly woman propose a toast, but she didn't know how to appreciate his kindness and knocked over the wine cup. How dare she offend young Master Jiang Wei? She deserves death. The person who spoke was Lu Lianfeng. He had challenged Su Fang in the Zhu clan's refining training hall and was made fun of by Su Fang. Madame Zhu sent a message to Su Fang with her nascent spirit. "Master Fang, they're clearly provoking you and trying to humiliate you. Please ignore them. Let's go." After saying that, Madame Zhu pulled Su Fang out of the hall. A young cultivator in a fiery red Taoist robe, who was surrounded by many refining geniuses, said coldly, "You want to leave after offending me? What do you think the Jiang clan is? Young Master Jiang Wei?" Su Fang scanned the cultivator with his divine light and found that he was extraordinary. He was at the peak of the 9th Tao Saint Immortal Realm. His aura contained a shocking fire elemental divine might. Moreover, his great pregnant purple qi was similar to that of a refining master. It was obvious that he often refined Dharma treasures and was tainted with great pregnant purple qi. Madame Zhu is the leader of a clan. Even if she did something wrong, you've already punished her. What else do you want? Su Fang said indifferently. For the golden crow silkworm, Su Fang didn't want to cause trouble, so he restrained himself. "I heard that although this woman is the leader of the Zhu clan, she's like your concubine. She offended me, so you can't escape the blame," young Master Jiang Wei said majestically. "What do you want, young Master Jiang Wei?" Su Fang touched the tip of his nose and smiled helplessly. "I heard from Grand Elder Jiang Yin that your refining talent is unparalleled. He even wants you to join the Jiang clan and marry a woman from the Jiang clan." Jiang Wei snorted disdainfully. "Who do you think you are? You're a lowly foreign cultivator with such an ugly appearance. How dare you call yourself a refining genius? You're like a pig or a dog. How dare you marry a woman from the Jiang clan? Moreover, you're arrogant and despotic. You humiliated Cousin Lu. You really don't know what's good for you." Jiang Wei smiled coldly. After forming a seal, a ball of crimson flame ignited in his palm. "Take my fire elemental divine ability. If you're lucky enough to survive, I won't pursue the matter. If you don't live up to your reputation and can't even take a single blow from me, then you deserve to be out of luck. Your concubine will also become my female slave." As soon as he finished speaking, boom! Chapter 1748. Su Fang sensed the aura of a strange fire from the fire dragon released by Jiang Wei. He raised his eyebrows and said, "Strange fire?" This Jiang clan young master was quite extraordinary. He actually fused a strange fire seed called the Dragon Flame Strange Fire into his fire. The Dragon Flame Strange Fire was a fire seed formed in the depths of magma where fire dragons were born. Su Fang was at the perfection realm and cultivated the 9 Yang 9 transformations, so he could easily fuse with the strange fire seed. Other cultivators didn't have this ability and dared to use their bodies to swallow the strange fire. Even if they didn't burn to death, their meridians would be burned to death. They could only use their own true fire to fuse with the strange fire, which was also very difficult and dangerous. Jiang family young Master Jiang Wei's true fire actually merged with the Dragon Flame Deviant Fire, causing his flame god aura to become really shocking. No wonder he could become the top blacksmith of the Jiang family, and no wonder he was so arrogant. He did have the right to be arrogant. With the Dragon Flame Deviant Fire, His flame god aura could even kill initial stage Dao realm expert. Before my flame, what is a strange flame? The corner of Su Fang's lips curled up, revealing a smile of disdain and mockery. What was a strange fire in front of Su Fang's 9-yang immortal fire? Moreover, Su Fang's fire cloud emperor body had fused with the heavenly light strange fire, thousand illusion star fire, and thunder fury flame. I'll let you live for now, but if I don't give you some punishment, you'll really think that Su Fang is a weakling. In order to help Lu Lianfeng vent his anger, and also because Su Fang, a foreign cultivator, had gained the favor of one of the Jiang clan's leaders, young Lord Jiang Wei, felt uncomfortable. Therefore, he found a random reason to suppress Su Fang. Su Fang's heart was filled with murderous intent due to his domineering attitude. Boom! Jiang Wei's fire dragon instantly swallowed Su Fang. Red flames burned crazily around him, making him look like a man on fire. Master Fang! Madame Zhu screamed, her heart filled with despair. You can't even withstand a single blow. How dare an ant call himself a blacksmith genius? Jiang Wei sneered with disdain. His eyes were cold. Lu Lianfeng smiled proudly and said, An outsider dares to be so arrogant in the Blaze region. You don't even care about me. I'll make you die without a burial place. The other refining geniuses who had come to the flame refining domain were also looking at Su Fang, who was engulfed in flames, with a smile on their faces, as if they were watching fireworks. Suddenly the dragon flame's strange fire. The dragon flame's strange dragon. After a while, the white flame enveloped the dragon flame's strange dragon. It shackled the dragon flame's strange dragon. Then, it began to devour and merge with the dragon flame's strange dragon. The dragon flame's strange dragon let out a cry of despair, but it did not dare to resist. The 9 suns' celestial fire was so domineering and terrifying. Jiang Wei was shocked. He shouted angrily, Outsider, what kind of evil technique did you use? How can you devour my dragon flame? Let go of my dragon flame. The blacksmithing geniuses next to him were all shocked. You want to take back your dragon flame? Su Fang smiled coldly and waved his right hand. The 9 suns' celestial fire shrank and forced the dragon flame's strange dragon to shrink into a ball of flame. He could easily suppress this flame with just a thought. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. More than 10 Jiang clan cultivators rushed in. However, the dragon flame's strange dragon was in Su Fang's hands. They did not dare to act rashly. Stop. Friend, everything can be discussed. Jiang Wei panicked. More than half of his strength and blacksmithing ability came from the dragon flame's strange dragon. If he angered this black-faced cultivator and destroyed the dragon flame's strange dragon, it would be useless even if he killed him. Su Fang looked at the dumbfounded Madame Zhu and asked, Who bullied you just now? Madame Zhu was still in shock. She stammered, Young Master Jiang Wei poured a cup of wine on me. Young Master Lu Lianfeng slapped me. There were also 3 people who touched my thigh. Young Master Jiang should know what to do now? Su Fang looked at Jiang Wei coldly. He controlled the power of fire to stop devouring the dragon flame's strange dragon. Jiang Wei clenched his teeth and cupped his fists at Madame Zhu. I offended you just now. Please forgive me. This. The number 1 disciple of the Jiang clan, the number 1 blacksmithing genius of the Blaze domain, apologized. Madame Zhu was at a loss. However, Su Fang said coldly, Just an apology. Does young Master Jiang Wei think it's enough? Jiang Wei pointed at Lu Lianfeng and the other 3 geniuses. You guys, come here. Slap. Lu Lianfeng was slapped away by Jiang Wei. He spat out a mouthful of blood and half of his teeth. He fell heavily in the hall. You 3, cripple your own hands that touched Madame Zhu. In order to protect the strange flame, Jiang Wei showed his ruthless side. Young Master Jiang Wei, the 3 blacksmithing geniuses were trembling. How could they be so ruthless to themselves? Jiang Wei waved his hand. Jiang clan cultivators immediately pulled the three out. A moment later, 3 consecutive screams came from outside. After a while, when the 3 people were brought in, they were all missing a hand. Everyone in the Sunview Pavilion's hall was shocked by Jiang Wei's ruthlessness. "Are you satisfied now?" Jiang Wei clenched his teeth and said. Su Fang said indifferently, "I remember Madame Zhu said that young Master Jiang Wei poured a cup of wine on her. Foreign cultivator, this is the Jiang clan. Don't go too far." Jiang Wei was furious. Su Fang activated his fire elemental divine power and penetrated the dragon flame's strange flame. "You win." Jiang Wei clenched his teeth and poured a cup of wine on his own head. Su Fang waved his hand and retracted his fire elemental divine power. The dragon flame's strange flame broke free from its shackles and flew to Jiang Wei's side. It disappeared into his palm. "Lowly ant, have you had enough of your arrogance? It's my turn now." Jiang Wei gnashed his teeth in anger. This time, he was really humiliated. Then, Jiang Wei pointed at Su Fang and shouted coldly at the Jiang clan cultivators, "Kill him! No, capture him alive. I want him to regret being born into this world." Su Fang stood there motionlessly, with a fearless look on his face. Just as the Jiang clan cultivators were about to suppress Su Fang, a majestic divine power shrouded the Sunview Tower. Relying on your family's power to suppress others, what kind of ability is that? If you have the ability, defeat this person fair and square in the refinement conference. This is the real Jiang clan. Jiang Wei's expression changed instantly. First Elder of Punishments. The person who spoke was the First Elder of Punishments, who was in charge of the law of the Jiang clan. Not only did he have a high status in the Jiang clan, but he was also cold and merciless. Everyone in the Jiang clan feared him. No one expected him to suddenly release his aura and step forward to stop them. Moreover, he was obviously protecting Su Fang. Jiang Wei and the other artifact refining geniuses were shocked and surprised. The Jiang clan cultivators were even more incredulous. As the overlord of the incineration flame field, the Jiang clan was very protective of its members. It was not unheard of for the Jiang clan disciples to be exterminated because they offended them. Moreover, Jiang Wei was a genius of the Jiang clan, and this was the Jiang clan's territory. The Great Punishment Elder was actually protecting an outsider. What kind of inconceivable thing was this? Could it be this ordinary-looking foreign cultivator was the young master of an overlord force from the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons? Before Jiang Wei could explain himself, the First Elder of Punishment's voice suddenly became sharp and stern. "Before the refinement conference, if you cause trouble for no reason, the laws of the Jiang clan will not tolerate you." Jiang Wei glared at Su Fang bitterly, then left the sun-viewing tower without saying a word. When Su Fang was about to leave, the First Elder of Punishments sent him a vital spirit voice. "Boy, the Chamber of Commerce wants to support you to win the first place in the refinement conference, not to let you be arrogant and despotic in the Jiang clan. If there is a next time, I will not care about your life or death. Thank you, First Elder of Punishments, for coming to my rescue." "I am very grateful," Su Fang responded, then smiled faintly. It turned out that Su Fang had attacked young Master Jiang Wei forcefully and domineeringly, not only to avenge himself and Madame Zhu, but also to find out who the reincarnated powerhouse's hidden spy in the Jiang clan was. This spy could even influence the ranking of the refinement conference. Unexpectedly, it was the First Elder of Punishments of the Jiang clan, a big shot, who stepped in. The infiltration of the reincarnated powerhouse's influence was simply shocking. Under the shocked and respectful gazes of the crowd, Su Fang left with Madame Zhu in embarrassment. After that, Su Fang did not step out of the tower, and no trouble came to him again. After the dragon bird entered the magma, it kept absorbing the pure yang energy in the magma, and it also wantonly devoured the fire-type big goblin and demons in the magma, growing at an astonishing speed. Until this day. A majestic voice suddenly sounded on the island. The refinement conference is about to begin. All participating cultivators, head to the divine mulberry mountain. Whoosh, Su Fong flew out of the tower and arrived at the square on the island. Not long after, more than 1,000 participating cultivators, who had been settled on the island by the Jiang clan, gathered on the square. A Dao realm powerhouse of the Jiang clan released a divine aura that enveloped the crowd, and then flew toward the giant peak where the divine mulberry tree was. When they arrived at the peak of the giant peak, the Jiang clan powerhouse led the participants and landed in a wide open area. After waiting for half a day, all the participating cultivators arrived one after another. There were more than 30,000 of them. The incineration flame region was indeed rich in craftsmen. The refinement conference held by the Jiang clan had gathered so many craftsmen in such a short time. Moreover, those who were qualified to participate in the refinement conference were all cultivators who had cultivated for less than 1,000,000 years. Due to the restriction of the qualifications, the craftsmen on the square were less than 1 in 10,000 of the total craftsmen in the incineration flame region. The refinement conference of the Jiang clan is indeed unprecedentedly grand. Chapter 1749. More than a dozen leaders of the Jiang clan arrived at the square. Infinity 8, Infinity 8, Infinity Read, Infinity Book. Just as everyone thought the refinement convention was about to begin, the Jiang clan experts sat down cross-legged, as if they were waiting for someone important. Many contestants could only suppress the nervousness and excitement in their hearts as they sat cross-legged in the square and waited. More than 30,000 cultivators waited in the square for 3 days. The Jiang clan experts in front suddenly stood up. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Su Fong's heavenly secret life contraction technique suddenly reacted violently. Destiny Dao runes flashed out from the depths of his divine aperture and formed the shadow of a young cultivator in white. It's him. I didn't expect to meet him in the incineration flame region. Prince Shui. Who else could the shadow formed by the Destiny Dao runes be but Prince Shui? Who would have thought, after ascending to the great world for so many years, Su Fong hadn't heard from Prince Shui? He thought he had died long ago. He really didn't expect to meet him in the primordial immortal demon battlefield. Whoosh, more than a dozen senior members of the Jiang clan accompanied a young cultivator as they flew over slowly. Prince Shui was still dressed in a white robe. His figure was imposing as if he was the ruler of heaven and earth. The senior members of the Jiang clan surrounded him like stars surrounding the moon. Su Fong activated his perfection ability and sensed that Crown Prince Shui's cultivation had actually reached the peak of the 9th Dao Saint stage. Moreover, his aura revealed a supreme domineering aura. Although Crown Prince Shui's strength was far inferior to Su Fong's, his speed of improvement could still be described as shocking. Who is this person? He actually made so many big shots of the Jiang clan flock to him? Only a peerless figure from the primordial immortal demon battlefield can be treated like this by the senior members of the Jiang clan. He's only at the 9th Dao Saint immortal realm. How powerful can he be? Although he's only at the peak of the 9th Dao Saint immortal realm, he's extraordinary. His surname is Shui, and he's an ascender. It's said that he cultivated for less than 100,000 years. With such speed of improvement, it's not an exaggeration to call him a peerless genius. According to what I know, not only is Shui Shao Zun's talent extraordinary, but he is also a disciple of venerable tyrant blood and is honored as Shui Shao Zun. It's said that he once killed a Dao realm expert. How could such a figure be ordinary? The tyrant blood venerable is the supreme ruler of the overlord force behind the Jiang clan. Young Master Shui is the disciple of the tyrant blood venerable, so the Jiang clan naturally has to do their best to please him. Su Fong heard the discussions of the contestants around him. Prince Shui's fortune is indeed extraordinary. Not only has his strength reached the peak of the immortal emperor realm, but he also has such an extraordinary identity. Su Fang was not surprised either. As expected of Prince Shui, he had such extraordinary luck. After coming to the outside world, he was able to obtain such a fortune. Looking at Prince Shui from afar, the corners of Su Fang's mouth curled up slightly into a cold smile. Prince Shui, your luck ends now that you've met me, Su Fang. Huang Lingyao, the former disciple of the Four Great Paths of the Celestial Sealing Sect, was currently shackled by Su Fang in the world of the Sky Thunder Hall in Su Fang's body. She had become Su Fang's slave. As for Xing Chongxing, Su Fang also learned from Huang Lingyao that Xing Chongxing and her had ascended to the outside world together with Seven-Star Child and joined the Heavenly Tao White Sun sect. Huang Lingyao was valued by the Heavenly Tao White Sun sect's higher-ups and immortal Emperor Tianong because she had merged with the Heavenly Tao White Sun sword. Xing Chongxing, on the other hand, was unknown and finally died during a training in the sect. Only Prince Shui was left. Moreover, Su Fang's hatred for Prince Shui could be said to be irreconcilable. After so many years, Su Fang had never forgotten the scene of Prince Shui cutting off one of his arms and forcibly stripping him of his magic treasure. In the end, he had no choice but to escape into the Xianjia Gate. Unexpectedly, he was lucky enough to meet Prince Shui again in the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons and in the burning desolation domain. All the previous grievances naturally had to be settled. Prince Shui, accompanied by the leaders of the Jiang clan, came to the front of the contestants. Divine light flashed across everyone's body, and he said majestically, "Jiang clan leader, the Myriad Refinements Conference can begin." Yes. The Jiang clan leader nodded and waved his hand, indicating the start of the competition. A leader of the Jiang clan with a cold expression stood out and said loudly, "I'm the Jiang clan's great elder of punishment. I'll be presiding over this Myriad Refinements Conference. Now I'll repeat the rules of the competition. Listen carefully." More than 30,000 contestants had already known the rules of the competition. At this time, they all pricked up their ears and braced themselves. So he's the Jiang clan's great elder of punishment. It's really unexpected that such a powerful figure would be bought over by the resurrected expert. Su Fang looked at the old man presiding over the competition. He was shocked by the power of the resurrected expert once again. The competition is divided into an elimination round and a final round. The content of the elimination round is very simple. It is to identify the materials for refining. If you can identify 10,000 materials in 3 days and name them, then you will be qualified to enter the final round. Let's start with the elimination round. Everyone is ready. More than 30,000 refiners sat down cross-legged on the square. The formation on the square was activated. The divine power of the formation enveloped every contestant. Xian Guang separated every contestant. Su Fang sat cross-legged in the formation. With a whoosh, a jade slip appeared in front of him. Su Fang reached out and grabbed the jade slip. He permeated his consciousness into it. He saw a dark rock in the middle of the Xian Guang. It glowed with starlight. Skander stone. When refining, fuse it with the Skander stone. It can double the hardness of the Tao artifact. Moreover, the refined Tao artifact can release a nebula, multiplying its power. Su Fang spoke with his consciousness. The Xian Guang immediately shattered, and a new refining material appeared. The Jiang clan's great elder of punishment found Su Fang among the crowd of cultivators. He thought to himself, this kid's refining ability might be somewhat extraordinary. However, it'll be difficult to help him win the competition without being discovered by others. This kid can't even pass the elimination round. At that time, no matter how much power I have, I won't be able to help him. Jiang clan's young master Jiang Wei's eyes released a divine light. He swept his gaze across the crowd of participating refiners. Then, he revealed a proud expression. I've cultivated the refining path since I was young. I have a strong memory and countless refining materials. Who can compare to me when it comes to identifying refining materials? In this first elimination round, not only will I pass, but I'll also defeat everyone. With my peerless edge, I'll take first place in the Myriad Refinements Conference and obtain the Golden Crow Silkworm. Jiang Wei was full of confidence. He didn't put the other refining geniuses in his eyes at all. Looking at Su Fang's location, Jiang Wei's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Fang Yu, last time at the Sunview Tower, the great Elder of Punishment was able to protect you. Let's see how he'll help you this time. I, Jiang Wei, will use my true abilities to ruthlessly trample you under my feet. Lu Lianfeng also looked at Su Fang with a ruthless gaze. This Myriad Refinements Conference will be my chance to soar into the world. Su Yu, Jiang Wei, I'll let you know who is the #1 refining genius in the Incineration Flame region. This time, I'll first surpass you in refining. One day, I'll let you know what the consequences of offending me, Lu Lianfeng. The other refining geniuses had different expressions. Some were nervous, some were serious, some were smug, and some were at their wits' end. Identifying refining materials was the most basic ability of a refining master. How vast were the materials that could be used to refine magic treasures! Even the top refining masters of the great world didn't dare to say that they could memorize all materials and their uses by heart. This Myriad Refinements Conference had prepared a total of 100,000 materials. As long as one could identify 10,000 of them, they would pass. It seemed easy, but in reality, it was extremely difficult. Why was this? Some refining masters were good at refining flying swords and magic treasures. Some liked to refine treasured cauldrons. There were also those who liked to refine magic treasures such as sabers and rods. Therefore, the refining materials that refining masters often used were usually only a few hundred types. It was not easy to memorize 10,000 types of materials by heart. Su Fang cultivated the Heavenly Demon Book. He could strip thousands of young immortals and memorize the refining materials at the same time. In order to prepare for the Myriad Refinements Conference, he had naturally made sufficient preparations for all kinds of materials. Although he couldn't say that he could recognize all the refining materials he knew were not inferior to the top refining masters of the great world. A day later, some people had already left. Some had identified all 100,000 materials and gave up on those that they didn't recognize. In the end, they couldn't recognize 10,000 materials and were directly teleported out of the square. Some had racked their brains and exhausted the power of their essence spirits, directly fainting. On the second day, at least 10,000 of the 30,000 refining geniuses had been eliminated. So many participants had been eliminated in the most basic stage of identifying refining materials. Moreover, these participants were all young refining masters with extraordinary talent. It could be seen how cruel the 10,000 refinements convention was. On the third day, some people continued to pass, and some continued to be eliminated. When there were only 2 hours left to the end, there were only slightly more than 1,000 participants left in the square. I, Lu Lianfeng, have successfully identified more than 47,000 materials. The first place of this round of the Myriad Refinements Conference will belong to me. Ha ha! Lu Lianfeng's voice suddenly sounded from the square, immediately shocking everyone. If one could identify 10,000 materials, one would be considered qualified. If one could identify 20,000 materials, one would be considered outstanding. There were almost none who could identify more than 30,000 materials. Lu Lianfeng had actually identified nearly 50,000 materials. His foundation in refining was extremely shocking. The Jiang clan's powerhouses were also surprised and praised Lu Lianfeng. Unexpectedly, just as Lu Lianfeng laughed, Jiang Wei's arrogant voice sounded. You can't even identify 50,000 materials. Is it worth showing off? After saying that, Jiang Wei stood up and walked out of the array formation to the side of the square. He didn't report how many materials he had identified. Many cultivators couldn't help but discuss and guess Jiang Wei's result. And not bad. As expected of the number one disciple of the Jiang clan, he actually identified more than 83,000 materials. He's really extraordinary. Chapter 1750. Jiang Wei. He had recognized more than 80,000 of the 100,000 materials. Not only did he have a solid foundation, but he also had talent. As expected of the number one disciple of the Jiang clan, the number one refining genius of the Blaze domain. Lu Lianfeng's smugness instantly vanished. The other cultivators were also shocked and envious. They couldn't even think of being jealous of Jiang Wei. The peak was too high. They could only look up and not climb it. The leaders of the Jiang clan were all very happy. The patriarch of the Jiang clan stroked his white beard and chuckled. Jiang Wei, you are indeed the refining genius of the Jiang clan that appears once in a million years. It seems that the Jiang clan will take first place in this Myriad Refinements Conference. Jiang Wei? This child is not bad. Prince Shui's deep eyes flashed. Jiang Wei is indeed not bad. I hope young Master Shui will guide him in the future. The Jiang clan leader took the opportunity to say to Prince Shui, "It is indeed a waste of Jiang Wei's talent in artifact forging to burn down a small plane like the Flame region. It is not difficult for me to recommend this child to my master," said Crown Prince Shui in a dignified manner. "Thank you, young master. I heard that the reward for the first place of this 10,000 Refinements Conference is a golden crow silkworm? This wondrous treasure is not very useful to Jiang Wei, is it?" Prince Shui's words startled the Jiang clan leader. Jiang Wei had fused with the heavenly dragon flame, and the golden crow silkworm contained pure yang energy. It was naturally of great help to him. It was a bit strange that Prince Shui said the golden crow silkworm was not very useful to Jiang Wei. Then Prince Shui said, "I am at the critical moment of breaking through to the Tao realm. My master told me to find an opportunity to break through, but it has been fruitless." The Jiang clan leader was enlightened. After a moment's hesitation, the Jiang clan leader said decisively, 3 golden crow silkworms are born every 100,000 years. Within 1,000 years after birth, they must be nourished with the extreme yang energy of the world. Then, they must quickly absorb their pure yang energy. Otherwise, the golden crow silkworm will be useless. Thus, the Jiang clan does not have any extra golden crow silkworms. Since Shao Zun has reached the critical moment of ascending to the Tao realm, this old man will make the decision on behalf of Jiang Wei and offer this golden crow silkworm to Shao Zun. Prince Shui continued, "What if some other genius artificer takes first place in the Myriad Refinements Conference?" The leader of the Jiang family chuckled. "Not to mention the fact that it's unlikely that anyone can defeat Jiang Wei and win first place in the Myriad Refinements meet, even if someone else is lucky enough to win first place, who would dare refuse to offer the golden crow silkworm to Shao Zun? I've troubled Lord Patriarch. Once I get the golden crow silkworm, I will definitely not treat the Jiang clan unfairly. It's just a small matter, what's there to talk about? I'll have to trouble you with the Jiang family in the future, Shao Zun." There was still an hour before the end of the elimination round. Most of the contestants had already left the square. There were less than 100 people who still refused to give up, and Su Feng was among them. "Isn't that Feng Yu, the Zhu clan's artificer who has risen to fame in recent years? Until now, he still hasn't identified 10,000 types of refining materials? To be able to refine a supreme-grade artifact, how is it possible that he can't even identify 10,000 refining materials? He must want to endure until the last moment and try to surpass Jiang Wei. I think he doesn't live up to his reputation at all. He didn't meet the minimum standard at all and has been bitterly holding on until now." For a moment there were people who were doubtful, disdainful, and mocking. Jiang Wei smiled coldly and embarrassedly. You're favored by First Elder Jiang Yin and protected by the First Elder of Punishment. If you're kicked out in the elimination round, it'll be boring. Maybe this foreign cultivator was so scared by such a big array that he forgot everything. His mind is blank, and he can't even identify a single refining material now. Lu Lianfeng sneered. Time's up. As soon as the First Elder of Punishment's majestic voice fell, the nearly 100 cultivators who were still bitterly identifying the refining materials in the jade slips flew away with a whoosh and were directly swept out of the square by the array. Su Fong looked like he hadn't had enough, and there was a faint look of regret in his eyes. When the other contestants saw this, they were even more certain that he hadn't reached the required number, and immediately mocked and ridiculed him. Let me see what's going on with this black-faced kid. He's dragging on until the last moment. The First Elder of Punishment grabbed Su Fong's answer jade slip. When his consciousness entered the jade slip and scanned it, the First Elder of Punishment was startled at first, and then he revealed an expression of disbelief. First Elder of Punishment, could it be that Fong Yu's result is somewhat extraordinary? First Elder Jiang Yin asked aloud. Extraordinary? Take a look, this kid is not only extraordinary. The First Elder of Punishment rolled the jade slip to First Elder Jiang Yin. Using his consciousness to roll the jade slip, First Elder Jiang Yin's expression was similar to that of the First Elder of Punishment. First, he was in disbelief, then he exclaimed, Fong Yu has identified a total of 99,500 materials. How is this possible? He was 500 materials away from identifying all 100,000 refining materials, which was more than 10,000 than Jiang Wei. Among the 100,000 refining materials, there were many rare and uncommon materials, and there were also some refining materials from the ancient era that were hard to find now. In order to show off the family's foundation, the Jiang clan had specially taken them out to show off. They didn't expect anyone to be able to identify them. Even First Elder Jiang Yin, a refining master of the Jiang clan, could only identify 90,000 of them, which was already the limit. Almost all of Fong Yu's crafting materials, including the rarest and rarest materials, were identified by Su Fong one by one. Su Fong was able to identify the names and uses of these materials. This kid was monstrous. This was the first thought of the First Elder of Punishment, First Elder Jiang Yin, and the other big shots of the Jiang clan. As soon as the First Elder of Punishment announced Su Fong's result, the 30,000 contestants burst into an uproar together, as if a wave had swept past. Many of the contestants first thought that this was impossible, but the result judged by the higher-ups of the Jiang clan naturally couldn't be wrong. Swish, swish, swish. Many gazes filled with shock, surprise, jealousy, and envy landed on Su Fong. Especially Jiang Wei, whose face was gloomy, and his previous pride and complacency were gone. As for Lu Lianfeng, there was no need to talk about him. Su Fong touched the tip of his nose, feeling helpless. He had unknowingly immersed himself in it, but he didn't expect to accidentally identify so many refining materials and cause such a big commotion. Su Fong had obtained the refining experience of Emperor Tianbao and the guidance of the Undead King, a top refining expert in the macro world, so he could be said to have an extensive knowledge and a strong memory. In addition, Su Fong had cultivated the Heavenly Demon Book, so his memory was invincible. How could the other refining masters compare to him in terms of the amount of refining materials he knew? If he was given a little more time, perhaps 2 to 4 hours, he could even identify the remaining 500 or so materials without missing a single one. Fong Yu. When Prince Shui heard this name, he raised his eyebrows, and his eyes emitted a cold light. He was too familiar with the name Fong Yu and would never forget it. The Jiang family patriarch asked, "Does young Master Shui know this Fong Yu? I had an old friend in the past, also named Fong Yu. It's a coincidence that we share the same name." Prince Shui couldn't help but laugh. This Fang Yu has reached the one-path saint immortal realm. No matter how talented Su Fang from the Celestial Sealing Sect was, even if he could ascend to the macro world, he wouldn't be able to reach such heights in just a few thousand years. It's been so many years. Back then, Fang Yu was no different from an ant to me, but I still can't forget him. It's a bit laughable. Prince Shui laughed self-deprecatingly. Then Prince Shui said, "It'll be a bit difficult for Jiang Wei to win first place and win the Golden Crow Silkworm." The Jiang family patriarch smiled confidently. "Young master, don't worry. The elimination round just now doesn't mean anything. There's no difference between identifying 10,000 materials and 100,000. What's important is the next round. That's the highlight. There's no doubt that Jiang Wei will win first place." After the first round of elimination, the number of artificers participating in the Myriad Refinements Conference dropped sharply from 30,000 to 6,000. Such a high elimination rate was simply cruel. The first Elder of Punishments stepped forward and took out a pyramid-shaped artifact. Boom, boom, boom. The artifact rapidly grew in size until it turned into a gigantic pyramid-shaped platform that was 10,000 feet tall. There were layers of stairs leading to the top of the platform. The first Elder of Punishments said majestically, "Remaining participants, that was just a warm-up. The real competition is coming up. I'll announce the rules now. The conference will provide each participant with the same cauldron, the same quantity, and the same type of materials. In other words, you'll stand on the same platform and compete with your talent and ability. This platform is called the Myriad Refinements Platform. It's used by the Jiang family to test the artifact forging skills of the family members. Put the artifacts you've refined into the Myriad Refinements Platform's array formation. The Myriad Refinements Platform will automatically make a judgment. The higher the grade and quality of the artifact, the higher the platform the array formation will send you to. Whoever reaches the top of the Myriad Refinements Platform first will receive the reward. You can use the materials provided to refine 100 inferior-grade artifacts and accumulate them step by step to reach the top of the Myriad Refinements Platform. You can also gather all the materials to refine a peak supreme-grade artifact and reach the top in one step. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. Be careful. All the contestants frowned. Should they reach the top step by step, or should they accumulate enough and soar to the top? It was very difficult to make a choice. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. On the stairs near the top of the 1,000 Refinements Platform, balls of mystic light appeared. Within the mystic light there were ancient elixirs, Dao artifacts, and all sorts of rewards that would make even Dao realm experts jealous. Boom! A golden Xian Guang appeared at the top of the Myriad Refinements Platform. It was like a gigantic cocoon and contained a shocking amount of pure yang energy. With the appearance of this reward, even the divine sun and evil sun in the sky seemed to dim a little. Chapter 1751. The prize that appeared at the top of the 1,000 Refinements table was the Golden Crow Silkworm that Su Fang was determined to obtain. Su Fang's eyes flashed with a frightening light. Wasn't it all for the Golden Crow Silkworm that he came to the Burning Flame region and went through so many twists and turns? With his perfection stage ability, he could feel that the Golden Crow Silkworm contained a shocking amount of pure yang energy. Now, he was certain that as long as he absorbed this pure yang energy, he could successfully form a yang meridian. Once the 54th yang meridian was formed, his 9 yang 9 transformations could enter the 6th transformation. He could dual cultivate with Shu Wanjin and unleash the supreme power of the Origin's sacred mirror. Why would he fear the Azura expert Blood River Lord? It seems that you are also determined to obtain the Golden Crow Silkworm? Jiang Clan young Master Jiang Wei had appeared in front of Su Fang at some point. Seeing Su Fang's burning gaze, he asked, "So what?" Su Fang replied indifferently, "The Golden Crow Silkworm was carefully nurtured by my clan for 100,000 years. How can it fall into the hands of an outsider? I am not as good as you in identifying refining materials, but so what? To a refiner, refining is the most important thing. Refining at the thousand refinements table, I will let you know what is called crushing. The golden crow silkworm will also be mine. No one can take it away. I will use the golden crow silkworm to break through the shackles of cultivation and become a supreme immortal. At that time, even the punishment elder will not dare to do anything to me. The humiliation you gave me at viewing Sun Tower, I will return it 10 times over. Young Master Jiang Wei's tone was domineering and full of confidence. Su Fang smiled faintly and did not reply. Jiang Wei's confidence was off the charts, but in the end, he would be even more disappointed. Not far away, Lu Lianfeng looked at Su Fang and Jiang Wei with cold eyes, clenching his fists. Fang Yu, Jiang Wei, I am not as good as you in identifying refining materials, but so what? In the final competition, I, Lu Lianfeng, will definitely trample the two of you under my feet. The final competition of the Thousand Refinements Conference begins now. Activate your participation tokens. The Thousand Refinements table's artifact will naturally bring you into the refining space. The punishment elder shouted coldly. The remaining refining geniuses all injected their magic power into the tokens that the Jiang clan gave them before the competition. The 10,000 refinements table immediately unleashed waves of divine might, sweeping the contestants into the treasure world of the 10,000 refinements table. Every participant was in an independent formation space, and Su Fang was naturally no exception. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. A mystic light gushed out from the formation, carrying a pile of refining materials and materials into the space of the formation. Next, a cauldron, supported by a magical treasure's divine might, landed in the center of the formation space. At the same time, Su Fang was enveloped by the divine power of the formation. As long as he activated his space ring or other magic treasures, the cultivators of the Jiang clan who were monitoring the participants would immediately notice and disqualify him. After checking all the materials, Su Fang fell into deep thought. He instantly came up with countless plans in his mind. Su Fang was thinking about how to make the best use of all the refining materials in the shortest time to refine the highest quality Taoist weapon. About half an hour later, the punishment elder's primordial spirit came through the formation. Fang Yu, you can secretly take out the materials in the storage ring or the artifact you refined in advance. I will cover for you. Cheat? Su Fang was stunned. What? Do you really think you can win first place with your refining skills? Put away your arrogance and do as I say. Otherwise, if you ruin the business of the Chamber of Commerce, I will take your head. I have my own ideas. Thank you for your reminder, Punishment Elder. Su Fang smiled confidently. Then, he created a sword formation in the space of the formation. He polished the materials and substances one by one without any hurry. You'd better not disappoint me. The Punishment Elder's primordial spirit said coldly and embarrassedly. Then, the primordial spirit dissipated and disappeared in the formation space. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. 4 cultivators, 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Such a short time was not enough to refine a Taoist weapon. However, many of the participants were eager to win. They used all kinds of methods to shorten the refining time. In 3 years, more than half of the cultivators had successfully refined a Dao artifact and were teleported to a different level of the array formation space. According to the quality of the Taoist weapons refined by each contestant, the height of the steps they appeared on was different. Some climbed dozens of steps at a time, while others only climbed a few steps. Lu Lianfeng's performance was especially amazing. In 3 years, he refined a middle-grade Taoist weapon, and its quality was quite extraordinary. It allowed him to reach nearly 100 steps in one fell swoop. He was far in the lead on the 1,000 refining table. Compared to Lu Lianfeng, Jiang Wei and Su Fang, who were popular before the trial of the 1,000 refining table, exceeded everyone's expectations. Both of them were still in the formation space at the bottom of the 1000 refining table, and they were still polishing the materials and materials. Jiang Wei is. He's actually going to refine a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon. Grand Elder Jiang Yin was an expert. From the materials Jiang Wei was polishing, he could see his intention. He was going to refine a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon. He was immediately shocked. To be able to refine a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon meant that one had reached the level of a first-rate blacksmith master in the great world. Jiang Wei was so young, but he could reach such a high level in blacksmithing. How shocking was this? I've never heard of Jiang Wei being able to refine a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon before. This time, he's obviously going to go all out. He must be using some divine abilities that only the possessors of the Jiang clan's bloodline can use. If he can refine a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon, there will be no suspense in this 1000 refinements convention. However, using such a method is a bit disgraceful. Jiang Yin shook his head slightly. He felt disdain for Jiang Wei's cheating method. Then, he looked at Su Fang. Grand Elder Jiang Yin's eyes were filled with confusion. He raised his white eyebrows. What is he doing? Su Fang was also polishing materials. However, unlike Jiang Wei, Su Fang was polishing and cutting all of them. Even if he was refining a peak supreme grade Taoist weapon, it was impossible to use all of the materials. It seems that he has chosen to climb to the peak step by step, while Jiang Wei intends to soar into the sky. I wonder who will win in the end. Grand Elder Jiang Yin could not help but feel some anticipation. The others did not think so. Many people were puzzled. They did not know Su Fang's intentions. The only person who was anxious for Su Fang was naturally the Jiang clan's Grand Elder of Punishment. He had repeatedly transmitted his primordial spirit to Su Fang, but Su Fang turned a deaf ear to him. This made the Grand Elder of Punishment extremely angry, but there was nothing he could do. Just polishing all of the materials took Su Fang nearly 10 years. During this period of time, most of the participants had passed the 100th level of the 10,000 refinements platform. Lu Lianfeng had advanced by leaps and bounds, continuously refining mid-grade Taoist weapons of extraordinary quality, all the way to the 500th level. Jiang Wei had long since activated the weapon cauldron to refine the materials. He used flames to fuse the materials together one by one, refining the Taoist weapon palace of heaven and earth. Su Fang finally finished polishing and cutting all the materials without missing a single one. Only then did he take out the materials one by one and threw them into the weapon cauldron. He used his own divine flame might to control the flames of the weapon cauldron and refine the materials. The weapon cauldrons that the Jiang clan provided to every participant were all supreme grade. They were very extraordinary. At this moment, they were controlled by Su Fang's divine flame might, almost pushing their power to the limit. Therefore, the speed of refining the materials was also extremely shocking. However, because Su Fang had refined all of the materials, the time it took was naturally longer. It did not look very conspicuous. Another 5 years passed. Most of the blacksmithing geniuses refined Taoist weapons one after another, continuously rising on the 10,000 refinements platform. The least of them reached the 100th level. The fastest, Lu Lianfeng, reached the 500th level, which was more than half the height of the 10,000 refinements platform. Boom! Su Fang's first Dharma treasure was finally refined by him, which immediately attracted the attention of all the higher-ups of the Jiang clan. Even Prince Shui, who had been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Su Fang. It's only a low-grade flying sword? Seeing that Su Fang had refined a low-grade flying sword that could not be more ordinary, everyone was stunned. Refining a low-grade Dharma treasure would at most advance a dozen levels on the 10,000 refinements platform. The 10,000 refinements platform had more than 1,000 levels. How long would it take to reach the peak? Some people could not help but feel disappointed in Su Fang. Some were puzzled, guessing that Su Fang's intentions were not so simple. Su Fang swept out the flying sword, which was engulfed by the formation. A moment later, a force of spatial distortion enveloped him, and then transported him out to the 12th level of the 10,000 refinements platform. He was still in the formation space, and the weapon cauldron and refined materials were all transported over. Su Fang continued to activate the weapon cauldron, and unhurriedly refined according to his previous plan. A year had passed. Su Fang had refined 8 Dharma treasures, all of which were low-grade flying swords. To refine 8 Taoist weapons in a year, such a refining speed was simply astonishing. However, the grade of the Taoist weapons was too low. Su Fang was only at the 100th level on the 10,000 refinements platform. Other than Jiang Wei, who was still at the bottom, Su Fang fell behind. Seeing this scene, there were already people who sneered. At this time, Lu Lianfeng had already reached the 700th level. The gap was so big that it was almost impossible to catch up. 3 months later, a mid-grade Dharma treasure emerged from Su Fang's weapon cauldron. Su Fang was transported to the 200th level. Boom! Another mid-grade magic treasure was produced. This time, it took a slightly longer time, nearly half a year. However, the quality of this magic treasure was higher. Thus, Su Fang's position on the myriad refinements table rose even higher. The attention of all the Jiang clan's higher-ups was attracted. Boom! Boom! Chapter 1752. What an amazing artifact forging speed! Fang Yu's ability to control fire and material is so powerful and skillful, comparable to an artifact forging master. His artifact forging hand seals are definitely not from the burning domain of flames, but from an ancient artifact forging path that has been lost for a long time. 8.8 Study Book. O greater than or equal to who is this person's master? How did he master the ancient refining method? The upper echelons of the Jiang clan discussed. Great Elder Jiang Yin was even more shocked. He had already seen through Su Fang's intentions. He actually planned to use all the materials to refine a Dao artifact. This required an astonishing refining speed, as well as a comprehension of the Dao of refining. He had reached the point where he could match the materials at will and refine a Dao artifact at will. This child's artifact forging realm far surpasses Jiang Wei's, and even surpasses mine. It's just that he lacks experience in artifact forging. Fang Yu's future achievements in artifact forging are limitless. No matter what, we must pull him into the Jiang clan. Jiang Yin secretly made a decision. About 20 years later, Su Fang forged an upper-grade Dao artifact and was transported to the 700th floor by the formation. He surpassed most people and was almost at the same height as Lu Lianfeng. This scene caused quite a stir. Lu Lianfeng, who was immersed in artifact forging, saw through the formation that Su Fang had caught up. At first, he felt a strong sense of urgency, but then he sneered disdainfully. My top-grade Dao artifact is brewing in the cauldron. Once it is born, I can reach the 900th floor in one go. Maybe I can reach the top in one go and get the golden crow silkworm first. Jiang Wei, who had been paying attention to Su Fang, also saw this scene. He showed a disdainful expression, formed a hand seal, and grabbed at the cauldron. Crack, crack, crack. The cauldron let out a series of cracking sounds before it finally shattered. A cauldron-shaped Dao artifact, burning with a blue fiendish aura, appeared from the shattered cauldron and emitted a shocking Dao artifact aura. This cauldron had not yet appeared, but it already had such a shocking aura. Even the cauldron could not withstand it. It was a peak-grade Dao artifact cauldron, and the cauldron was of the highest grade, so it naturally could not forge a peak-grade Dao artifact. Roar! A deep roar resounded. Jiang Wei's hands separated, and a fire dragon with monstrous flame power rushed out. It coiled around the embryonic form of the green cauldron and burned wildly. Jiang Wei actually didn't use the artifact Cauldron's flame, but instead used the dragon flame deviant fire to refine the artifact. Such a big commotion naturally alarmed Su Fang. This Jiang Wei is quite extraordinary. He is actually able to use deviant flames to refine artifacts without using a Dao artifact. However, even if he has the dragon flame heavenly flame, it will be difficult for him to last for too long. It is not enough to refine a peak top-grade Dao artifact. Since he is so confident, he must have some trump cards. Looks like I have no choice but to bring out a portion of my strength. If Jiang Wei were to obtain the Golden Crow Silkworm, then it would be too late for regrets. Thinking of this, after forming the seal, Su Fang's hands burst into flames with a boom. His entire palm turned into a burning flame. One by one, the refined materials flew into Su Fang's hand. They were wrapped in flames and burned. It turned out that when Su Fang used the illusory fire cloud, he also activated a small portion of the Nine Suns' true fire. He directly used his own flame power to refine artifact. Su Fang's flame power was even more powerful than the cauldron's flame. By using his hands to refine artifacts, his ability to control flames and materials would also multiply. The speed and quality of the artifacts would naturally be incomparably shocking. What kind of true fire is this? It can be used to refine artifacts directly like Jiang Wei? Deviant flames. Fang Yu has also fused with deviant flames, and his deviant flames are not fused with his true chi flames, but with his physical body. How terrifying is the power of deviant flames! How can a cultivator's physical body fuse with deviant flames and not be burned alive? The upper echelons of the Jiang clan were all experts in refining artifact. They could tell at a glance that the flames released by Su Fang were extraordinary. They were all astonished and shocked. It's not just one type of deviant flames. Fang Yu's flames have fused with several types of deviant flames, and there's also a type of true fire that's incomparably domineering. It surpasses any flame in this world. This boy actually has such a remarkable flame power. He was hiding his strength before. First Elder Jiang Yin saw more than the others, so he was more shocked than the others. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Prince Shui's eyes also lit up. He carefully sized up Su Fang for a while and nodded. This person is very extraordinary. He's qualified to be my slave. If he's carefully trained, he'll definitely be a powerful master refiner. Time passed day by day. Boom. In the formation space where Lu Lianfeng was, a fierce aura suddenly burst out, and a sword light soared into the sky. He had finally succeeded in refining a supreme-grade magic treasure. Although it was a supreme-grade flying sword of the lowest grade, it was still a supreme-grade Dao weapon. The first place of the Myriad Refinements Conference belongs to me, Lu Lianfeng. Haha, Lu Lianfeng laughed loudly, and the flying sword was swallowed up by the formation. Buzz buzz buzz. A moment later, the formation suddenly released a divine aura that enveloped Lu Lianfeng. Fang Yu, cousin Jiang Wei, I'll take my leave first. The first place of the Myriad Refinements Conference and the Golden Crow Silkworm belong to me, Lu Lianfeng. You two can slowly compete for second place. Lu Lianfeng laughed proudly, and then was teleported out by the formation. When Lu Lianfeng reappeared, he wasn't at the top of the Myriad Refinements platform, but at a place only 3 levels away from the peak. Although he had successfully refined a supreme-grade Dao weapon, its quality wasn't high. It barely reached supreme grade, and wasn't enough for him to reach the peak of the Myriad Refinements platform. It's a pity that I couldn't reach the peak, but it's nothing. Fang Yu and Jiang Wei might not be able to reach the peak. When the time comes, I'll still be first place, and the Golden Crow Silkworm's reward will still be mine. Lu Lianfeng was stunned, but then he was still very proud. He reached out and put away the reward floating in front of him. The last 10 levels of the Myriad Refinements platform, each level had extremely generous rewards. Even Dao realm experts would be jealous when they saw them. Lu Lianfeng was able to obtain these rewards, so this trip was worth it. However, compared to the Golden Crow Silkworm, these rewards were nothing. Lu Lianfeng's goal was the Golden Crow Silkworm, so he naturally didn't care about these rewards. Lu Lianfeng still had a lot of refining materials left, but no matter how these materials were combined, it was difficult to refine a Dao weapon. Thus, Lu Lianfeng's final result stopped here. He sat down cross-legged and looked down at the many competitors who were still refining. A sense of superiority arose spontaneously. As time went by, Jiang Wei's Dragon Flame Heavenly Fire couldn't hold on, and his supreme-grade peak Dao weapon was far from success. Suddenly, Jiang Wei formed a shocking seal. In an instant, he seemed to merge with the entire divine Mulberry Mountain and the surrounding magma. The power of fire in the world and the pure yang power in the magma crazily gathered towards him. The Dragon Flame Heavenly Fire's aura suddenly skyrocketed. It turned out that Jiang Wei used the Jiang clan's divine ability to borrow the world's essence from the divine Mulberry Mountain and the surrounding magma world. He used the divine ability to extract essence from heaven and earth and borrow energy from the stars to help him refine artifacts. As a result, his divine ability of flames instantly became extremely shocking. This kind of divine ability could only be used by the Jiang clan cultivators who cultivated with the divine Mulberry Mountain and the world of magma as the source. It was difficult for other cultivators to use it. Although it was similar to cheating, the other cultivators couldn't say anything even if they had any objections. Jiang Wei's divine ability of flames suddenly became more than 10 times stronger, and his refining speed also skyrocketed. This isn't considered cheating. I also know a few such divine abilities. Su Fang sensed the changes in heaven and earth and realized that Jiang Wei was using a divine ability. He smiled coldly. The next moment, Su Fang used the ethereal true insight divine ability. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The natural fire elemental spiritual chi between heaven and earth surged towards Su Fang in a mighty manner, forming a shocking flame around him. He controlled it and merged it into the flame in his palm. The divine ability of flames became even more powerful, and at the same time, it became endless and inexhaustible. The divine ability of flames that Jiang Wei had transformed with the world's essence power was suddenly forcefully plundered and weakened to less than half. What kind of divine ability is this? It can actually plunder the Jiang clan's world's essence power. Not only Jiang Wei, but the higher-ups of the Jiang clan were also extremely shocked. Jiang Wei's face revealed a decisive expression. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood essence, which landed on the Dragon Flame Heavenly Fire. Boom! The flames suddenly rose. After a period of crazy burning, the prototype of the treasured cauldron in the flames was finally successfully refined. Then, Jiang Wei poured the spiritual liquid in a treasure bottle on the flames. With a whoosh, white smoke and multicolored light rose, and a green treasured cauldron appeared in front of them. It was a peak supreme-grade Dao artifact. Jiang Wei revealed a smug expression. Then, he looked at Su Fang, but his expression changed instantly. He saw that Su Fang's Dao artifact had also been successfully refined. This time, Su Fang had refined a treasured saber. It exuded the aura of a supreme-grade Dao artifact and the terrifying divine ability of flames. Once activated, it could cut and burn everything. Jiang Wei did not hesitate to draw the treasured cauldron into the formation. Almost at the same time, Su Fang did the same. Whoosh whoosh. Jiang Wei and Su Fang were transported out at the same time, and then appeared on the Thousand Refinements table at the same time. However, neither of them reached the top. They were still one step away from the top of the Thousand Refinements table. Although neither of them reached the top, there was no dispute about their first place. No one else could surpass them. Tied for first place. The smug expression on Lu Lianfeng's face completely turned into disappointment and unwillingness. The higher-ups of the Jiang clan exclaimed. 2 people tied for first place, but there was only one golden crow silkworm. How would the reward be distributed? What qualifications does a foreign cultivator have to compete with me for the golden crow silkworm? Scram. Chapter 1753. Boom. The might of a magic treasure descended, separating Jiang Wei and Su Fang. Jiang Wei's attack also disappeared under the might of the magic treasure. The first elder of punishment's voice rang out. Fighting is strictly prohibited on the Thousand Refinements table. Otherwise, you will be disqualified and kicked out of the Thousand Refinements table. Jiang Wei shouted angrily. Although Fang Yu and I reached the top at the same time, I only forged peak supreme grade Dao artifacts. Although he forged many Dao artifacts, the best he forged is only supreme grade. How can he compare to me? I'm first in the Thousand Refinements conference, so the Golden Crow Silkworm reward is naturally mine. First Elder of Punishment, as a member of the upper echelon of the Jiang clan, why are you protecting outsiders? Jiang Wei's words were not without reason. The Thousand Refinements Conference was a competition of artifact forging skills. No matter how many Dao artifacts Su Fang forged, his level was still limited to supreme grade, while Jiang Wei's was at the peak of supreme grade, far higher than Su Fang's. Now that the two of them had reached the same level, it was natural for Jiang Wei to be first. No one had anything to say. If the first Elder of Punishment wanted to forcefully give the first place to Su Fang, it would definitely arouse the dissatisfaction and even suspicion of the other upper echelons of the Jiang clan. The Jiang clan leader would definitely not sit by and watch. However, Jiang Wei's supreme grade Dao artifact had borrowed the origin energy of the Jiang clan's world. His true level was not enough to forge a supreme grade Dao artifact, which made many artificers of the other clans feel very convinced. Prince Shui smiled. Tied for first place, how interesting. No matter who gets first place, they will have to offer the Golden Crow Silkworm to me. It's meaningless to continue fighting. The Jiang clan leader nodded. Young master is right. Jiang Wei and Fang Yu are tied for first place in this Thousand Refinements conference. As for the Golden Crow Silkworm, it will naturally be offered to young master. The Jiang clan leader flew out and announced loudly, the first place of this Thousand Refinements conference is, at this moment. Suddenly, Su Fang said, Lord Clan Leader, the Thousand Refinements conference is not over yet. Isn't it too early to announce the results now? The Jiang clan leader said majestically, You two have used up all your materials, and no one else can reach your level. The first place has been decided. Su Fang said, Lord Patriarch, I'm afraid you're mistaken. I seem to still have some materials. The clan leader of the Jiang clan was stunned. He scanned Su Fang's formation space with his divine light and saw that Su Fang still had a few materials left. However, if he wanted to forge a Dao instrument, it was obviously not enough. He could not help but laugh. Could it be that you plan to use these materials to refine a Dao artifact? Yes. As soon as Su Fang finished speaking, he activated his Fire Cloud Emperor body again. It wasn't just his two hands. Both of his arms turned into burning flames. Sizzle. The materials that had been polished by Su Fang a long time ago were quickly melted into liquid under the divine might of the illusory fire cloud and the 9 suns' celestial fire. Then, they gradually transformed into the shape of a ring's Dao palace. Su Fang struck out handprints one after another. It was dazzling. Not only were the handprints extremely skilled, but they were also meticulous. In a short 3 months, under the refinement of Su Fang's unparalleled divine might of flames and handprints, the ring was quickly refined into a prototype. Then, it was burned by flames and sprinkled with spiritual liquid, appearing in front of everyone's eyes. This ring's level was not high. It was only low-grade, and its use was also very simple. After activating it, it could release a protective divine might to defend against the enemy's attack. Moreover, it could only be activated a few times. Therefore, it was not some impressive Dao instrument. However, this was a genuine Dao artifact after all. Looking at the formation space where Su Fang was, there was not a single extra material left. The upper echelons of the Jiang clan, as well as Jiang Wei, Lu Lianfeng, and the other master refiners, all revealed expressions of disbelief. At the same time, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Su Fang had actually calculated so many materials to such an extent. Not a single material was wasted. What kind of terrifying calculation ability did this require? There were many types of Dao artifacts, and each type of Dao artifact required different materials, and different hand seals to refine. From this, it could be seen how profound Su Fang's mastery of the Dao of refining was. Even if one could plan the most perfect refining plan in advance according to all the materials, how many people could refine different kinds of Dao instruments according to the plan? It was enough to see how profound Su Fang's refining skills were. What kind of terrifying level had Su Fang's refining skills reached? It was too shocking. Jiang Wei was dumbfounded. There was a roar in his head, and a thought surged in his mind. This person's refining skills are far above mine. I'm not as good as him, too much. The other contestants were also shocked. They were completely convinced by Su Fang's refining skills. Su Fang struck out the ring, and it fell into the formation. A moment later, the power of the formation teleported Su Fang out and he appeared at the top of the 1,000 refinements table. Looking at the golden crow silkworm covered by the golden xianguang, Su Fang's eyes flashed with a burning light. He channeled yang power to his right hand and reached into the golden light, grabbing the golden crow silkworm. Feeling the majestic life force and pure yang power in the golden crow silkworm, Su Fang was surprised and happy. He had successfully formed the 54th yang meridian and reached the 6th transformation of the 9 Suns' 9 transformations. Seeing Su Fang obtain the golden crow silkworm, everyone's eyes were filled with envy. There were even some people who had the thought of killing him and snatching the treasure after leaving the Jiang clan. Fang Yu, accompanied by the Jiang clan leader and other experts, Prince Shui flew across the sky and stopped above Su Fang. He looked down at Su Fang with an arrogant expression. The Jiang clan leader said majestically, "Fang Yu, your cultivation is too weak right now. The golden crow silkworm is not very useful to you. Also, the golden crow silkworm needs to be nurtured using the Jiang clan's secret technique before it can spit out pure yang power. This requires a large amount of resources. It is not something you can do." Su Fang was startled. He immediately asked, "How does clan leader think I should deal with the golden crow silkworm?" The Jiang clan leader revealed a smile. Young Master Shui is at the critical moment of breaking through to the high levels of the Dao realm. The golden crow silkworm is a spiritual item of heaven and earth. It will be of great help to young Master Shui. Why don't you offer the golden crow silkworm? If young Master Shui is happy, your future will be limitless. Su Fang was shocked and stunned. Not only the resurrected experts, even Prince Shui was thinking about the golden crow silkworm. When the Jiang clan's elder of punishment heard the Jiang clan leader's words, the light in his eyes instantly changed. But how could he speak now? "Fang Yu, this young Master Shui sees that your talent in forging is extraordinary, so I have decided to bestow upon you a supreme immortal opportunity. If you submit to this young Master Shui will nurture you with all his might. It is not impossible for you to become a top forging grandmaster in the great world in the future," Prince Shui said majestically. His voice carried a supreme domineering aura. This scene made Su Fang immediately recall how the Crown Prince faction had forced him to join the Celestial Sealing sect. Su Fang's deep eyes exuded a trace of coldness, but he wore a smile on his face. "If I don't agree, young Master Shui will definitely snatch the golden crow silkworm away in front of everyone and then suppress me. Isn't that right, young Master Shui?" Prince Shui's face instantly darkened. The Jiang clan leader shouted coldly, "Fang Yu, how dare you speak to young Master Shui like this? Do you know who young Master Xue is? Relying on his talent to act so arrogantly, he will bring you a fatal disaster." The corners of Su Fang's mouth rose slightly, revealing a mocking smile. Now that he had the Golden Crow silkworm, it was not difficult to obtain the secret technique to nurture the Golden Crow silkworm. He just needed to capture one of the Jiang clan's higher-ups and use soul-searching and memory-stripping. Thus, Su Fangda could calmly leave with the Golden Crow silkworm. Even if he exposed a portion of his strength and was suspected by others, once the Blood River Lord discovered Su Fang's true identity, Su Fang would no longer fear anything. Once he successfully nurtured a Yang Meridian and entered the 6th transformation of the 9 Yang 9 transformations, he would be able to join forces with Shu Wanjin to activate the Origin Sacred Mirror. At that time, Su Fang would not be escaping from the Blood River Lord's pursuit, but rather finding a way to kill the Blood River Lord. However, it would be best if he did not expose himself. If the Golden Crow silkworm could not successfully nurture the 54th Yang Meridian, or if nurturing the Golden Crow silkworm required a long time, it would attract the attention of the Blood River Lord in advance. Seeing that Su Fang had no intention of handing over the Golden Crow silkworm, Prince Xue's eyes flashed coldly. He said coldly, "You dare to go against my will with just a bit of talent in forging? You really don't know your place." Buzz. Just as Su Fang was about to answer, the Destiny Dao rune of the Heaven's secret life shrinking technique suddenly moved. Then, Su Fang activated his perfected ability and sensed the aura of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's young master, who appeared in the void outside the divine Mulberry Mountain. Not only was there the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's young master, but there was also a revived expert whose cultivation had reached the peak of the high-level Dao realm. Su Fang was not unfamiliar with this peerless expert's aura. It was the revived Buddhist sect cultivator, Cave Sea Buddha. This person was extremely powerful. He used a supreme divine power and borrowed the evil power of nature released by the 5 evil suns to mask his own aura and that of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's young master. It was as if they had merged into the world. Not to mention Prince Xue and the other senior members of the Jiang clan, even Su Fang would not have been able to sense their existence if it wasn't for the Heaven's secret life shrinking technique's ability to sense Destiny's aura. Cave Sea Buddha has become even more powerful. Su Fang was shocked when he sensed Cave Sea Buddha's aura. Cave Sea Buddha and the other revived experts besieged Yang Ming Dao Master. At that time, he was only a high-level Dao realm cultivator. During the Great War of Immortals and Demons, he had reached the peak of the high-level Dao realm. Now, he was about to break through the peak and become a demigod. Book Drunk Fast Update A half of floating. Lifu Cave Sea Buddha had obviously used the method of sacrificing to the supreme evil god to achieve such a terrifying increase in power. It was no wonder that the revived experts could become the absolute overlords of the chaotic ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. It was only a matter of time before they swept through the entire immortal Dao realm's human, demon, and monster races. Su Fang smiled awkwardly and said to Prince Xue, "It's not that I don't want to hand over the Golden Crow silkworm, but I plan to give it to someone else." Prince Xue paused, then laughed maniacally. "Who do you plan to give the Golden Crow silkworm to? I'd like to see who has the guts to steal my Golden Crow silkworm." As soon as he finished speaking, "I want the Golden Crow silkworm. What can you do?" Chapter 1754. The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect stopped hiding and appeared in front of the Jiang clan and the cultivators participating in the Myriad Refinements Conference. But Buddha Dong Xue didn't show up. This was the territory of the human race. Although Buddha Dong Xue was confident in his strength, he didn't want to cause too much of a commotion. He just wanted to get the Golden Crow silkworm. If Prince Xue hadn't asked for Su Fang's Golden Crow silkworm, even the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect wouldn't have shown up. "Who are you? You want to steal my Golden Crow silkworm?" Resurrected cultivator, are you a resurrected expert? Prince Shui glanced at the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal sect and sensed the death chi on him. His expression changed instantly. The higher-ups of the Jiang clan and the blacksmiths participating in the Myriad Refinements conference were all shocked, horrified, and panicked. Prince Shui yelled at Su Fang, "You're a human cultivator, but you colluded with a resurrected expert. This is unforgivable. I'll suppress you right now. Jiang clan leader, lead the Jiang clan's experts to deal with this resurrected cultivator." Crown Prince Shui issued an order to the Jiang clan's patriarch, while he himself headed straight for Su Fang. Prince Shui's intention was obvious. He wanted the Jiang clan's experts to be cannon fodder while he prepared to suppress Su Fang and get the Golden Crow Silkworm. As long as he got the Golden Crow Silkworm, Prince Shui wouldn't care about the lives of the Jiang clan's experts. How could the Jiang clan leader and the other higher-ups not understand Prince Shui's intention? However, Prince Shui's background was too powerful. They had to obey his orders, or the Jiang clan would be annihilated. After weighing the pros and cons, the Jiang clan leader led the Jiang clan's experts to attack the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal sect. The two sides fought an earth-shattering battle in the air. The strength of the Emerald Cloud Immortal sect's young master was quite impressive. During the Taoist competition of the Heavenly Fate Bright Firmament sect, he already possessed strength equivalent to a mid-level Tao realm expert. After so many years, he now possessed terrifying strength that was no weaker than a high-level Tao realm expert. A monstrous aura of death erupted from him, gathering into billowing dark clouds that enveloped the entire divine Mulberry Mountain. The Jiang clan was indeed a huge clan that had existed since the ancient times. Their overall strength wasn't weak. The Jiang clan leader's cultivation had also reached the high-level Tao realm. This was also the Jiang clan's base, so they could continuously use the world source energy. Coupled with the fact that the Jiang clan had many experts, the young sect master of the Green Cloud Immortal sect was completely suppressed. Fang Yu, this young master saw that your talent in refining was extraordinary and originally wanted to give you a limitless future. Who would have thought that you would abandon yourself and rely on the resurrected expert? Then this young master can only mercilessly suppress you. Tyrant blood of the heavens, suppress! Crown Prince Shui gave off a wild and domineering aura that contained a supreme will that was like the heavens as it crushed towards Su Fang. Under this aura, it was as if the entire world was trembling, and everything in the world was bowing down in worship. Su Fang felt as though a blood-dyed sky was covering him. Such a terrifying divine ability and aura had far exceeded the limits of Crown Prince Shui's current cultivation at the 9th Saint Immortal Realm. It had reached the height of the initial stage of the Tao realm. Prince Shui is indeed extraordinary. He came to the great world and obtained great fortune, cultivating such a powerful divine ability. But this is nothing to me. Su Fang sneered disdainfully. He had now reached the peak of the great world and could even contend with a demigod expert. Prince Shui's current achievements were indeed nothing in front of him. However, Su Fang had no intention of making a move. There was already a ready-made fighter there, so why should he make a move himself? Young master, save me! Su Fang's expression was one of terror and despair. He cried out to the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal sect as if his life was at stake. Your master won't be able to escape the fate of being suppressed. How can he spare the time to save you? Hand over the Golden Crow Silkworm, and I'll let you die more comfortably. Prince Shui sneered. He looked at Su Fang as if he was looking at a dead man. The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal sect was fighting with the Jiang clan expert. He could protect himself, but he couldn't spare the time to save Su Fang. He immediately sent a message to the Jiang clan's first elder of punishment. You don't have to hide your identity anymore. Go save Fang Yu. If you can save him, then save him. If you can't, then forget it. The key is to get the Golden Crow Silkworm. Yes, young master. The Jiang clan's first elder of punishment responded secretly, then charged towards Prince Shui. "Young master, I've come to help you suppress Fang Yu," the first elder of punishment called out to Prince Shui. "Why would I need your help to suppress an ant-like existence?" Prince Shui raised his eyebrows in displeasure. But the next moment, boom! After the first elder of punishment formed a seal, a torrent-like scarlet flame burst out and swept towards Prince Shui. "You're courting death," Prince Shui was shocked and furious. "First elder of punishment, are you crazy?" The Jiang clan experts were all dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that the first elder of punishment would do such a crazy thing. The first elder of punishment was a mid-level Dao realm expert, and his attack was so sudden. How could Prince Shui withstand it? Prince Shui's aura was instantly incinerated layer by the flame. The flame pounced on him like a ferocious beast, burning wildly. It looked like he was about to be burned to ashes. "Jiang clan, you dare to collude with the resurrected expert and betray the tyrant blood venerable. Just wait for your clan to be exterminated." Prince Shui took out a rune talisman and crushed it. Suddenly, the will of the heavens exploded. The domineering aura shook the surrounding flames and swept them in all directions. Then, this aura enveloped Prince Shui and swept him into nothingness. When the first elder of punishment broke Prince Shui's shackles, Su Fang took the opportunity to fly out of the Shinsang mountain and toward the island he used to live on. Seeing that the first elder of punishment failed to kill Prince Shui, Su Fang couldn't help but exclaim in his heart, "What a pity! Fang Yu, why aren't you leaving the Jiang clan with me? Where are you going?" The first elder of punishment saw that Su Fang didn't run for his life, and instead went to the island. He couldn't help but be startled. Su Fang didn't seem to hear him. He landed on the island and entered the pavilion he used to live in. "Damn it, I'm going to pull out your tendons and skin you alive later." The first elder of punishment's eyes were spitting fire. He flashed and chased after Su Fang. "Suppress this resurrected cultivator, or we won't be able to answer to the tyrant blood venerable," the Jiang clan leader shouted angrily. Many Jiang clan masters attacked the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal sect wildly. Meanwhile, the Jiang clan leader personally attacked the first elder of punishment and Su Fang. The Jiang clan could only capture the first elder of punishment alive and take back the golden crow silkworm from Su Fang. Only then could they appease Prince Shui's anger and prevent the Jiang clan from being exterminated. However, at this moment, the death qi and evil qi in the world seemed to be controlled by an invisible force. They swept over from all directions and covered the sky. "There's a resurrected cultivator hiding in the dark. And it's a peerless cultivator at the peak of the high-level Dao realm." The Jiang clan leader felt like he had fallen into an ice cave. He couldn't care less about chasing after the first elder of punishment and Su Fang anymore. Instead, he used the Jiang clan's last resort. He used the divine mulberry wood to burst out a godly sun-like power to resist the power of Buddha Cave Demon. Su Fang stepped into the pavilion. It turned out that his purpose of returning was to save Madame Zhu. After all, Madame Zhu came to the Jiang clan with him. She wouldn't be able to escape the Jiang clan's evil hands. Naturally, Su Fang couldn't leave her here. Madame Zhu asked in a trembling voice, "Master Fang, what happened?" Su Fang said, "It's nothing. Let's leave this place first." Whoosh. The first elder of punishment flew over and landed in the pavilion. He said coldly, "Kid, I didn't expect you to be so lustful. To save your concubine, you're even willing to give up your life. Give me the golden crow silkworm." "I worked hard to get the golden crow silkworm. Why should I give it to you?" Su Fang's lips curled up. As he spoke, he slightly activated the life-shrinking technique and covered the surroundings. "Kid, you've got guts. You want to use the golden crow silkworm to curry favor with the young master? An ant-like existence dares to steal credit from me. You really don't know your place." The first elder of punishment released the power of the law of fire, which turned into a terrifying explosion of fire. With a boom, the pavilion was instantly burned to ashes. Su Fang and Madame Zhu were trapped in a world of fire. Su Fang showed a look of disdain. He waved his hand and released the 9 suns' immortal fire. He controlled the surrounding fire and swept it back like a tide. It was 10 times stronger than the first Elder of Punishment's fire. High-level Dao Realm. Who are you? Su Fang revealed the aura of a high-level Dao Realm. The first Elder of Punishment's eyes were filled with shock. It was as if a struggling and trembling rabbit had suddenly transformed into a ferocious tiger. The contrast was too great. The first Elder of Punishment's head exploded. He didn't have time to react before he was swallowed by the fire. Master Fang is actually a high-level Dao Realm expert, Madame Zhu, who was behind Su Fang, turned into a piece of wood. Second Primordial Spirit, Soul Search. I want all the memories of the Golden Crow Silkworm. In order to make the Golden Crow Silkworm spit out pure yang energy, it needed the Jiang clan's secret technique. The first Elder of Punishment was an absolute upper echelon of the Jiang clan. He definitely knew the secret technique of the Golden Crow Silkworm. Since he took the initiative to come to him, Su Fang naturally wouldn't miss it. So Su Fang released his second primordial spirit. It turned into a black Xian Guang and drilled into the burning flames. After a few breaths, while the first Elder of Punishment's body was still burning, his second primordial spirit drilled out of the flames and flew back to Su Fang's body. It transferred all the memories that it had just extracted from the first Elder of Punishment's primordial spirit to Su Fang. After some analysis, he indeed found the secret technique of the Golden Crow Silkworm in the first Elder of Punishment's memories. At this moment, Su Fang's heart calmed down and he revealed a joyful expression. Master Fang. Chapter 1755. After witnessing Su Fang kill the Jiang clan's expert, Madame Zhu was afraid that Su Fang would kill her to silence her. 8-8 Read Book. Infinity. After all, the Jiang clan was backed by the overlord of the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. It was reasonable for Su Fang to silence her to avoid trouble. For a high-level Dao Realm expert, not to mention a saint immortal like her, it would only take a single thought for him to destroy the entire Zhu clan. How could she know that Su Fang had never taken the overlord of the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons seriously? Su Fang said indifferently, "Since you can see, I won't hide anything from you. I'm not Fang Yu, the blacksmith. I'm participating in the refinement conference for the Golden Crow Silkworm." "Grandmaster Fang, you won't kill me?" Madame Zhu was surprised to see that Su Fang had no intention of attacking. "Why should I kill you?" Su Fang was stunned, and then he laughed involuntarily. He continued, "Although I won't kill you, the Jiang clan won't let you and the Zhu clan off." Madame Zhu showed her decisive and shrewd side. She immediately knelt on the ground and begged, "My death is not to be regretted. Please take my son, Zhu Yan. No matter what Grandmaster wants me and the Zhu clan to do, we will do it without hesitation. If I'm lucky enough to become Grandmaster's concubine, it will be my supreme destiny." Su Fang was stunned for a moment. Soon after, he said indifferently, "I don't need any concubines. However, I won't sit idly by and let the Zhu clan be implicated because of me. As for Zhu Yan, if he is able to master the cultivation method I passed to him, I will naturally give him a good fortune." Madame Zhu was surprised and happy, but she was slightly disappointed because Su Fang had rejected her. Su Fang then used the True Dragon Realm's magic treasure to envelop Madame Zhu. Madame Zhu was at Su Fang's mercy and was taken into the True Dragon Realm by Su Fang. Su Fang then used the Heavenly Secret Life shrinking technique to conceal his presence. He flew out of the island and dived into the boiling lava below. Su Fang released a wave of divine power to force the surrounding lava aside. He sent a message to the lava ocean, "Dragon bird, come back." A moment later, The magma rolled, and the dragon bird appeared in front of him. During this period of time, the dragon bird had been deep in the magma, absorbing the pure yang energy contained in the magma. At the same time, it had also devoured countless magma creatures. The land of lava where the divine mulberry tree was located was known as the Rushing Current Valley in ancient times. Legend had it that it was the place where the sun rose. How terrifying was the pure yang energy contained in such a place! After devouring without restraint, the dragon bird's aura and appearance had changed greatly. At this time, the dragon bird's body was about 70 to 80 feet long. It had a dragon's head, a phoenix's beak, a dragon's body, and a phoenix's tail. Its sharp claws flickered with astonishing fire-elemental divine might. Its body was covered in colorful feathers, and its wings and tail feathers were burning with terrifying flames. The crown on its head was like a real existence condensed from flames. The dragon bird's eyes were slightly closed. Occasionally, a divine sun-like light would flash out, as if it could tear apart all darkness and evil. Its body also emitted a shocking pure yang aura, which was holy and domineering. It made the surrounding magma sea want to be controlled by it. Su Fang released his mind to communicate with the dragon bird, and he was surprised and delighted. At this time, the dragon bird was close to adulthood, and the power of the sun god had become more powerful. Su Fang estimated that the dragon bird's sun god arrow was no longer just a threat to demigod demon overlords or resurrected overlords like before, but to kill. Unexpectedly, in such a short time, the dragon bird had transformed to such a height. Su Fang was naturally surprised. The dragon bird would be the most powerful trump card against the demon race and the resurrected overlord. However, Su Fang learned from the dragon bird that it was almost impossible for the dragon bird to grow to adulthood in the large world. Even if the dragon bird transformed to adulthood, it would be rejected by the heavenly laws of the large world. The heavenly laws wouldn't allow a mutant divine beast with such powerful divine powers to exist. After obtaining the golden crow silkworm, the dragon bird also transformed. This trip to the burning region of flames was worth it. It was a great harvest. Let the Jiang clan and the resurrected overlords fight to the death. Let's go. In the sky above the divine Mulberry Mountain, Buddha Dong Xue fought with the Jiang clan. Terrifying energy waves swept in all directions, and the entire sea of lava kept boiling like a tsunami. Su Fang sensed the great movement outside from the depths of the lava. He sneered and let the dragon bird swallow him. Then, the dragon bird swam in the depths of the lava like a fish and soon left the Jiang clan. After the dragon bird flew out of the lava, it flapped its wings and flashed in the sky like a flaming monster. It flew straight to the area where the Zhu clan was. On the way, it had to avoid the chaotic areas of the world power and meet some winged big goblin or some resurrected big goblin. The dragon bird flew excitedly and was unstoppable wherever it went. The battle between Buddha Dong Xue and the Jiang clan lasted for half a month. With the help of the power of the divine mulberry tree and Prince Xue's many overlords, the Jiang clan was finally lucky to escape. Buddha Dong Xue and the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect couldn't find Su Fang. Even the Elder of Punishments was nowhere to be found. One could imagine their surprise and anger. Young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect, you seem to have been toyed with by an ant, Buddha Dong Xue said coldly. I left a seal seed in this person's body. As long as he's still in the primordial battlefield of immortals and demons, he won't be able to escape from me. Let's go. The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect was furious. After leaving the Jiang clan with Buddha Dong Xue, they frantically searched for Su Fang's whereabouts in the incineration domain. What the two resurrected overlords didn't expect was that Su Fang had no intention of avoiding them at all. He returned directly to the Zhu clan. Zhu Yan. After returning to the Zhu clan, Su Fang summoned Zhu Yan directly. To Su Fang's great surprise, Zhu Yan had broken through the Khanate, acquired, and mortal realms after years of hard work in cultivating the 100 Orifices bloodline. He had reached the perfect physical body that even the ancients couldn't achieve. It was simply too unexpected. When Su Fang first started cultivating the 100 Orifices bloodline, he had let blood and qi attack his physical body a total of 81 times. He still felt lingering fear from the pain he had to endure. Zhu Yan was a heavenly immortal cultivator, and his physical body had long been fixed. The pain of his blood and qi tearing his clothes apart was 10 times what Su Fang had endured. He really didn't expect Zhu Yan to really endure it. Even Law was full of praise. This kid is extraordinary. If he's given a chance, his future achievements will be extraordinary. Su Fang, you've found a good seedling. I can see your shadow in Zhu Yan. Actually, if you take Zhu Yan as your disciple and save the Zhu clan, you might meet the descendant of fire god Zhurong in the myriad worlds. It'll be very beneficial for you. Moreover, this Lady Zhu, Lady Zhu is a rare beauty. Since she wants to be your concubine, why do you have to pretend to be serious? When cultivation is boring, it's fine to solve some physiological problems. Then, Law became frivolous again. Su Fang simply ignored him. He ended the conversation with Law. Su Fang nodded at Zhu Yan. Since you've persevered and cultivated a perfect physical body, I'll naturally fulfill my promise and give you a chance. The perfect physical body is just the beginning. It's the foundation of cultivation. How far you'll grow in the future depends on your own efforts. Master Fang is willing to take me as his disciple. Zhu Yan was stunned at first, then he was overjoyed. Lady Zhu was also surprised and happy. She hurriedly said, Yan, why aren't you greeting your master? Zhu Yan greets master. Only then did Zhu Yan react. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times. Su Fang said, I've never taken in disciples before. This time, I'll make an exception and take you as an in-name disciple. Whether I accept you as an official disciple will depend on your efforts in the future. Get up. In-name disciple. When Zhu Yan heard that Su Fang was only taking him as an in-name disciple, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. Lady Zhu saw through her son's thoughts and scolded, Master Fang is a high-level Dao realm expert. You can become his in-name disciple. What kind of good fortune is this? You're still not satisfied. You're really stupid. High-level Dao realm, Zhu Yan was completely stunned. For a low-level young cultivator like him, high-level Dao realm experts were like the heavenly Dao. Su Fang said indifferently, Since you're my in-name disciple, there's no need to hide anything. Master's real name is Su Fang, and I'm from the immortal domain in the great world. Su Fang didn't reveal his true strength or his illustrious reputation in the great world. If Madame Zhu and Zhu Yan knew that Su Fang was no ordinary high-level Dao realm expert, but had the ability to kill demigods and even gods, and had almost single-handedly destroyed the number 1 sect in the immortal realms, the heavenly mandate Bright Firmament sect, the mother and son would have been scared out of their wits. This is a supreme fire attribute divine ability called Illusory Fire Cloud. It's not weaker than your Zhu clan's fire attribute divine ability. It contains several casting methods that can be combined with spiritual fire to cultivate. Su Fang condensed his will into a jade slip and handed it to Zhu Yan. Is there any fire attribute divine ability in the great world that's more powerful than the Zhu clan's? Zhu Yan respectfully accepted the jade slip, but inwardly, he didn't quite believe it. Although the Zhu clan had declined in the great world, their ancestor was known as the fire god, the originator of fire attribute divine abilities. Zhu Yan naturally didn't believe Su Fang's claim that his fire attribute divine ability was no weaker than the Zhu clan's. However, he didn't dare to disrespect his master's reward. He fused it with the illusory fire cloud. Zhu Yan's face was filled with shock and disbelief. The flame cloud steps, the phaseless flame cloud saber, and the flame cloud wings. He can even cultivate his fleshly body into a true form, the Flame Cloud Imperial Body. The Zhu clan's divine abilities were indeed extraordinary, but they were still ancient divine abilities. Heaven and earth had undergone earth-shaking changes, and the constitution of cultivators was vastly different from that of ancient times. Therefore, the Zhu clan's legacy wasn't suitable for modern cultivators. This was also why the Zhu clan's descendants in the Great World were gradually declining. Chapter 1756. Whoosh whoosh. Su Fang took out a Xian Guang from his right hand. 2 Dao artifacts floated in the Xian Guang. One Dao artifact was a 3-foot-long spiritual sword, as thin as a cicada's wing. It was black and covered with stars. It was the Starry Daylight Sword. The other Dharma treasure was the Flaming Cloud Spiritual Gourd. Looking at the 2 Dao artifacts, Su Fang was reluctant to part with them. These 2 Dao artifacts had been with Su Fang since he was in the small world. Su Fang had deep feelings for them. After coming to the large world, Su Fang did not hesitate to consume a large amount of resources. He used the Heavenly Dipper Creation Cauldron to improve the quality of the 2 Dharma treasures. Now, the 2 Dharma treasures had reached the peak of supreme grade. However, as Su Fang's strength continued to increase, and with some powerful Dao artifacts, he rarely used the Flaming Cloud Spiritual Gourd and the Starry Daylight Sword. A Dao tool should be used in a battle with the enemy, giving off the resplendent light it deserved. Su Fang could not bear to leave the 2 Dao tools in use. Since he had accepted Zhu Yan as his in-name disciple, Su Fang gave the 2 Dao artifacts as a greeting gift. After communicating with the Dao artifact's artifact spirit, Su Fang removed the blood essence that had fused with the Dao artifact. Then, he solemnly handed the 2 Dao artifacts to Zhu Yan. These 2 Dao artifacts have been with me for many years. I'm giving them to you now. Treat them well and let them shine brightly. Yes, thank you, Master. Zhu Yan received the 2 Dao artifacts with great joy. His master was really speechless. Not only did he teach him divine skills, but he also gave him 2 peak supreme grade Dao artifact. If it were other cultivators, even a father and son might not be so generous, let alone an in-name disciple. Madame Zhu, it won't be long before the Jiang clan makes trouble for the Zhu clan. The only way is to migrate the Zhu clan. I have a spatial Dharma treasure that can accommodate all the Zhu clan members. Are you willing to move them into the world of my Dharma treasure? Su Fang then asked Madame Zhu. How could Madame Zhu refuse? Upon hearing Su Fang's arrangements, she almost fainted from joy and immediately went to gather her clansmen. However, just as they gathered their clansmen, the Ting clan's clan leader led all the powerful warriors of the Ting clan and surrounded the Zhu clan's encampment. It turned out that although the Jiang clan had successfully defeated Dongming Buddha and the young master of the Green Cloud Immortal sect, they had suffered a great loss. Not to mention the death of more than half of the clan's experts, even the divine mulberry wood that the Jiang clan had preserved for a long time had consumed a lot of its vitality. The Jiang clan searched everywhere for Fang Yu and Madame Zhu, but they were nowhere to be found. No one knew if they were dead or alive. Therefore, he vented his anger on the Zhu clan. The Jiang clan immediately activated a special method and sent a strict order to the Ting clan, asking the Ting clan to exterminate the Zhu clan. Seeing that the Ting clan's experts had all come out, the entire Zhu clan panicked. It was as if doomsday had arrived. Leave the women. As for the rest, regardless of their age, kill them all. A murderous voice came from the cultivators of the Ting clan. It was young Master Ting, Ting Chu. Fang Yu had become the wanted target of the Jiang clan. Even young Master Xue had vowed to search the entire ancient battlefield of the immortals and demons to capture him alive. Naturally, the Ting clan had nothing to fear. Ting Chu, who had been sent to the mine because of Su Fang, was also released. Ting Chu hated Su Fang to the core, so the Zhu clan naturally became the target of his anger. At this moment, his killing intent was overwhelming. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The cultivators of the Ting clan rushed towards the Zhu clan like dark clouds, with Ting Chu at the forefront. You plan to kill the entire Zhu clan, hm? Su Fang leaped into the air, and looked at Ting Chu indifferently. Fang you didn't escape but returned to the Zhu clan? I can suppress you and make a great contribution to the Jiang clan. With your head, I can soar to the sky. My luck has changed and I've encountered such a good fortune. Ha ha! Ting Chu was startled at first, but then he laughed complacently. Fang Yu's refining ability was indeed heaven-defying, and no one in the burning flame domain could compare to him. However, his strength was only in the saint immortal realm. In Ting Chu's eyes, what was he if not a weakling? Moreover, this weakling was the target of the Jiang clan. Ting Chu felt as if a big pie had fallen from the sky at this moment, and his whole body was floating. A frog at the bottom of a well who doesn't know the meaning of death. Su Fang smiled indifferently. He formed a hand seal and unleashed a huge golden claw. How terrifying was the profound yellow tyrant dragon claw executed by Su Fang's strength. In front of this terrifying attack, Ting Chu was not even a weakling. The claw tore Ting Chu into pieces with a terrifying aura that could tear the sky apart. The profound yellow tyrant dragon claw's power did not diminish, and it opened a bloody path among the Ting clan cultivators, killing hundreds of cultivators on the spot. The Ting clan cultivators were stunned by this shocking attack, and they were no longer as arrogant as before. The Ting clan has no need to exist in the great world from now on. Su Fang's indifferent voice was like a death sentence for the entire Ting clan. Swish, swish, swish. Su Fang waved his hand, and hundreds of runes rolled out and were detonated by his mind. Poisonous smoke and poisonous flames that contained deadly poison rolled out like a tide. Under the urging of Su Fang's world god aura, all the Ting clan cultivators, including the Ting clan leader and the young clan leader, were instantly enveloped. Sizzle! Many Ting clan cultivators' bodies were corroded layer by layer, and miserable screams rose one after another. The sky above the Ting clan instantly turned into a purgatory. The Zhu clan members were terrified. They trembled and looked at Su Fang as if they were looking at a terrifying god of death. Only then did Lady Zhu and Zhu Yan realize that Su Fang was not as kind as they thought. Like other experts, he had an extremely ruthless Tao heart. He was decisive and merciless. After putting all the Zhu clan members into the Zhenlong world, Su Fang immediately left the Zhu clan. Su Fang was far away from the Zhu clan. In the sky above the burning flame region, he randomly found a place where the energy of heaven and earth was chaotic. He created a formation to stabilize the chaotic spacetime and then entered the Zhenlong world. Golden Crow Silkworm. Su Fang first took out the Golden Crow Silkworm, and then carefully pondered the secret technique to breed the Golden Crow Silkworm. The Jiang clan bred the Golden Crow Silkworm, matured it, and finally released the pure yang energy. It was not complicated. To breed the Golden Crow Silkworm, one had to use one's own vital qi, essence blood, and pure yang spiritual items to fuse with the Golden Crow Silkworm. Then, the Golden Crow Silkworm would break out of the cocoon and release the pure yang energy. This pure yang energy was very useful to Tao realm and even demigod experts, be it cultivators, demons, big goblin, or resurrected experts. It was especially useful when it was used to break through the shackles of cultivation. However, the pure yang energy formed by the Golden Crow Silkworm's life essence was extremely violent. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to withstand it. Because the Jiang clan's secret technique had fused with the Golden Crow Silkworm in advance, the cultivator could control and fuse with this pure yang energy. Otherwise, the terrifying pure yang energy would instantly burn the cultivator's body to ashes. With Su Fang's perfect physical body, fire cloud emperor physique, and pure yang power, he naturally did not fear the pure yang energy released by the Golden Crow Silkworm. However, in order to better fuse with the Golden Crow silkworm's pure yang energy and ensure the successful birth of the 54th Yang Ming, Su Fang followed the secret technique's requirements and did it meticulously. Su Fang placed the Golden Crow silkworm in the time and space cave abode, then took out the Heavenly Dipper creation cauldron and a large number of spiritual items that contained yang energy. He used true fire, essence blood, and the flames of the Heavenly Dipper creation cauldron to brew the Golden Crow silkworm. According to the secret technique's records, it would take thousands of years to grow the Golden Crow silkworm. Su Fang estimated that in the time and space cave abode, together with Su Fang's pure yang energy, the Heavenly Dipper creation cauldron, and the spiritual items, it would take at most 200 years to completely grow the Golden Crow silkworm. 200 years was just a blink of an eye. Su Fang still had that much patience. Buzz, buzz. An aura swept past the chaotic time and space where Su Fang was hiding. It's not Buddha Supreme Dong Shui or the young master of the Azure Cloud celestial sect. This person is even more powerful than Buddha Supreme Dong Shui and has reached the level of a demigod. Who is he? Su Fang was shocked. Luckily, he had covered the true dragon realm with the life-shrinking technique. Otherwise, even if he was in the chaotic time and space, he would have been caught by this person. This person's aura is somewhat similar to Prince Shui's. He should be Prince Shui's demigod master, supremacy tyrant blood. To think that there would be such an expert in the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. There are indeed many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. There's no need to get into a conflict with this person for now. I'll let Prince Shui live for a while longer. Su Fang guessed that the owner of this aura was undoubtedly Supremacy Tyrant Blood. In the next few years, Supremacy Tyrant Blood's aura never appeared again. The incineration blaze region was so big and filled with the chaotic power of nature. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't possibly keep an eye on the entire incineration blaze region. He's caused quite a commotion in the Jiang family. If the Blood River Lord comes to the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons, he might be noticed. I'll leave the incineration blaze region first and hide in other planes until the Golden Crow silkworm matures. Who? Su Fang flew out of the chaotic spacetime. He activated his perfected ability and used the life-shrinking technique to sense his surroundings. Buzz. The life-shrinking technique detected two familiar auras. The Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's Young Master and Supremacy Dong Shui. I didn't expect them to still be in the incineration blaze region. It seems they won't give up until they get the Golden Crow silkworm. Since I've encountered them, I might as well get rid of them. Su Fang's deep eyes flashed with ruthlessness as he prepared to kill both the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's Young Master and Supremacy Dong Shui. He casually found a canyon in the wilderness. / Su Fang first released the immortals and demons and dragon birds to hide on both sides of the valley. Next, Su Fang buried runes created by the life-shrinking technique around the valley. Then, Su Fang activated the seal seeds in his divine aperture and dantian and sat down cross-legged in the valley. These two seals were left behind by the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's young master. In order to not arouse suspicion, Su Fang didn't erase them and didn't care about them at all. He just shackled them. Unexpectedly, these two seal seeds became bait to lure the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect's young master and Supremacy Dong Shui. About 5 minutes later. Shua. Chapter 1757. Fang Yu, you're hiding here. I can't believe that a Saint's celestial cultivator, an ant-like existence, dares to trick me. I've captured you this time to refine your body into a puppet and torture your primordial spirit with corpse fire for eternity. Seeing Su Fang, the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect sneered ferociously as if he had seen a prey that had fallen into a trap. His voice was filled with coldness and death. Su Fang revealed a panic-stricken expression, looking like he was trembling. Hand over the Golden Crow silkworm. The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect shouted coldly and immediately activated the Death Chi seed that sealed Su Fong. Su Fong's body was filled with Death Chi. He staggered and fell into the valley. Damned ant, see how I'll deal with you! The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect gritted his teeth and flew into the valley. Close. Su Fong clasped his hands together secretly, and the life-shrinking technique runes that were hidden around the valley shattered one by one. The power of the heaven's secret life-shrinking technique exploded outside the valley, silently concealing the aura of the valley and the surrounding 100 miles of the valley. It turned out that Su Fong wanted to kill the two revived experts in one fell swoop, but did not want to cause a commotion. Hence, he used the life-shrinking technique runes to conceal the aura of the surroundings. Buddha Dong Yi had a bad feeling and urged the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect, "Get the Golden Crow Silkworm and leave this place. Kid, I wanted to spare your life because of your talent in refining weapons. I didn't expect you to be so bold as to steal my Golden Crow Silkworm." The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect was stunned when he saw Su Fong's eyes that were filled with mockery and coldness. At this moment, Su Fong's right arm suddenly turned into a vine and extended toward the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect. It wrapped around his waist and pulled him to his side. Death Chi exploded from the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect. He turned into a gray cloud made of Death Chi as he tried to break free. The vine formed by Su Fong's wood elemental divine power was corroded by the Death Chi and withered. However, it was still tough and released a restraining force. No matter how hard the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect struggled, he could not break free. The gray cloud rolled and condensed into the young master's face. He stared at Su Fong with a dead gaze. "You're definitely not a saint celestial. Who are you?" "Young master of the Green Cloud Immortal Sect, how many years has it been since the Taoist competition? You don't even recognize me?" Su Fong sneered. You're Su Fong." The young master of the Green Cloud Celestial Sect finally recognized Su Fong. His eyes, which were originally filled with a deathly stillness, were instantly filled with shock, followed by incomparable fear, and finally boundless regret. The young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect rushed over excitedly when he sensed the aura of the sealed seed in Su Fong's body. He thought that he could easily kill Fong Yu and get the Golden Crow Silkworm. He did not expect the so-called Fong Yu was actually Su Fong, who made all the resurrected experts gnash their teeth in anger and fear. One could imagine the shock, fear, and regret in the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect. What made the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect even more shocked was that although he lost to Su Fong during the Tao Disciple competition, he was not completely defenseless. At this moment, he was like a weak chicken in front of Su Fong. He was at the mercy of Su Fong. Seeing that the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect was under the control of Su Fong, Buddha Dong Shui was not worried. After all, he was a peerless expert who was infinitely close to becoming a demigod. Even if Fong Yu had some tricks up his sleeve, it would be useless in the face of absolute strength. Buddha Dong Shui released a gray Buddhist light that was filled with dense Death Chi and shrouded the valley. When he heard the voice of the young master of the Azure Cloud Immortal Sect, Buddha Dong Shui's hollow eyes flashed with a terrifying light. Su Fong. This person is actually Su Fong. As if it was a conditioned reflex, Buddha Dong Shui clasped his hands together and a gray Buddhist light burst out of his body. As the Death Chi swirled around him, it quickly condensed into a lotus platform below him. When Buddha Dong Shui heard Su Fong's name, he hurriedly activated the Golden Lotus Buddha whisk to escape for his life. Buddha Dong Shui lifted the Golden Lotus Buddha whisk and spun it above his head. A vibrating aura was about to burst out. Screech! On the ridge on the left side of the valley, a monstrous demonic chi suddenly exploded. A sharp black saber light slashed toward Buddha Dong Shui with a terrifying aura that could cut through the sky. Demon God War Slave. Fang Yu is indeed Su Fang. Buddha Dong Shui felt that he, along with the surrounding void and earth, was about to be cut apart by the demonic saber. The aura of the golden lotus Buddha whisk was also on the verge of collapse under the demonic saber's aura. Seeing that the demonic immortal monster was about to cut Buddha Dong Shui in half, he suddenly punched his chest with his right fist and spat out a black cauldron from his mouth. At this moment, the demonic saber of the demonic immortal monster slashed down and shattered Buddha Dong Shui's golden lotus Buddha whisk. Boom! A sacred aura burst out of the cauldron's mouth and wrapped around the demonic saber. The monstrous demonic chi was quickly purified, and the aura of the demonic saber vanished without a trace. In the sacred Buddhist chi, the divine-level demonic saber trembled and was about to be sucked into the cauldron. Demonic Wheel of Exorcism. It's the demonic wheel of exorcism. Inside Su Fang's cave of time, Law had been paying attention to what was going on outside. He immediately recognized the origin of Buddha Dong Shui's cauldron and exclaimed in surprise, "Demonic Wheel of Exorcism?" Su Fang was also shocked. The demonic wheel of exorcism was an ancient Tao treasure, one of the most important Buddhist treasures. It was a supreme treasure that Buddhist experts used to suppress demonic experts. It had the unique ability to refine demonic energy into Buddhist chi. Back in the day, all demonic cultivators feared it. The demonic wheel of exorcism was as powerful as the Xianjia Gate. Only a supreme divine artifact could surpass them. The demonic wheel of exorcism looked like a cauldron with a lid. Buddha Dong Shui was controlling the body of the cauldron, and the lid was currently in the hands of monk Shangde. The monk had dreamed of finding the body of the demonic wheel of exorcism. He had asked Su Fang many times to find the body of the cauldron on this trip to the primeval immortal demon battlefield. Who would have thought that it would appear in the hands of Buddha Dong Shui? He hadn't used it during the Great War of Immortal Demon either. Clearly, Buddha Dong Shui had obtained the body of the demonic wheel of exorcism after the resurrected experts returned to the primeval immortal demon battlefield. The aura released by the demonic wheel of exorcism was about to suck the demonic saber into the cauldron and purify it. However, the demonic saber was a divine-level demonic artifact. Although the demonic wheel of exorcism had an amazing ability to restrain it, it couldn't suppress the demonic saber. The two supreme treasures were in a standoff. Just as Su Fang was paying attention to the sky, the young master of the green cloud celestial sect transformed into a dark cloud. A gloomy sound of thunder suddenly rang out, shattering the vines formed by Su Fang's life force. Whoosh! The young master of the azure cloud immortal sect broke free from his shackles and drifted into the sky as a dark cloud. "Do you think you can escape?" Su Fang sneered. "Chi!" Su Fang's eyes suddenly burned with flames and a crimson light burst out from his pupils. Heaven burning eye! The fire fell on the face of the young master of the azure cloud immortal sect and exploded, turning into a shocking flame that burned fiercely. The young master of the azure cloud immortal sect screamed miserably under the burning of the illusory fire cloud immortal sect. The dark cloud was incinerated layer by layer and finally disappeared as the screams stopped. The young master of the azure cloud immortal sect had fallen. Seeing this, Buddha Dong Shui immediately activated the demonic wheel of exorcism. A sacred Buddhist light burst out and swept the demonic saber away. He then put away the demonic wheel of exorcism and was about to escape. Just then, on the other side of the mountain ridge, a dazzling light burst out like the rising sun. The divine aura of the sun instantly covered the valley. Under this divine aura, Buddha Dong Shui felt the horror of doomsday. The death chi in his body and the ability to control the evil force between heaven and earth were also suppressed. Chi. Long Niao, who had been ambushed by Su Fang, shot out the divine sun arrow from her eyes. Boom! Buddha Dong Shui began to fight with all his might. A gust of death chi burst out of his body and quickly condensed into shadows of death chi. They densely packed and formed a circle of death around him. Chi, chi, chi. The divine sun arrow pierced through the shadows of death chi and hit Buddha Dong Shue's chest without any resistance. With a boom, Buddha Dong Shue's body burned and quickly turned into ashes in the flames that contained shocking pure yang energy. Cavern Demon Buddha's bald head broke free from his body and fled into the void. At this moment, an arm that was flickering with golden lightning extended rapidly. It was like the hand of a god reaching into the void. It turned out that Su Fang had used the giant diamond body transformation, an unparalleled divine power. Su Fang's yang meridian had fused with his physical body. After activating his physical body, any part of his body could be enlarged. His arm could instantly extend hundreds of feet. At this moment, Su Fang was about to reach the 6th transformation of the 9 Yang 9 transformations. His giant diamond body transformation was even more powerful. If he activated his fist, it could enlarge to the size of a hill and shatter a mountain range with a single punch. When the arm that reached into the void retracted, Buddha Dong Shue's head was shackled in the 10-foot-long palm. Su Fang, if you dare to kill me, Lord Evil God will not let you go. Buddha Dong Shue still threatened Su Fang even at this point. Su Fang sneered in disdain. His palm exploded with the power of the world of yin and yang, sealing Buddha Dong Shue's head and putting it into the sky-burying coffin. The improvement of resurrected experts didn't just require devouring life chi or sacrificing life to the evil god. They could also devour death chi to improve. Buddha Dong Shue's current strength was roughly on par with the undead lords, so Su Fang naturally wouldn't let it go to waste. Su Fang grabbed the demon wheel of exorcism and was overjoyed. With the complete demon wheel of exorcism, the monk could cultivate and improve rapidly by refining demonic chi into Buddha chi. From now on, Su Fang would have another powerful method to deal with demons. Let's go! Chapter 1758. Half a month after Su Fang left the valley. Is an element of 8, is an element of 8, is an element of reading, is an element of book. Suddenly, the space above the valley seemed to be soaked in blood and turned blood-red. Then, the blood-red space shrank and condensed into 2 figures. One of them was a young cultivator in white, Prince Shui. The other was a middle-aged man. He was burly and powerful, with an aura of nothingness and supreme dominance, as if he was the only ruler of this world. He was one of the overlords of the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons. He was a demigod and Prince Shue's master, Supremacy Tyrant Blood. Supremacy Tyrant Blood's deep eyes flashed with blood-red light. He scanned the valley and the surroundings with a serious expression. After forming a seal, Supremacy Tyrant Blood released a burst of aura and a world's divine might covered 100 miles. Then, he reached out and grabbed at the air. Stars floated out from the ground and space, and quickly condensed into an image. Light and shadow flashed on the image. It was the scene of Su Fang killing the young master of the Azure Cloud sect and Supremacy Cave Demon in the valley half a month ago. Fang Yu. Crown Prince Shue's face turned deathly pale. The young master of the Azure Cloud sect and Supremacy Cave Demon. One was comparable to a high-level Dao realm expert, while the other was almost a demigod. Fang Yu actually killed these 2 revived powerhouses like slaughtering chickens. What kind of terrifying strength was this? Prince Shui broke out in a cold sweat when he thought of how he tried to force Fang Yu to kill the Golden Crow Silkworm in the Jiang clan. Prince Shui had to thank the Jiang clan's first elder of punishment. If he hadn't ambushed him, he wouldn't have been able to save his life even with Supremacy Tyrant Blood's talisman. Venerable Tyrant Blood said, an astonishing flame divine ability, a demon god battle slave, and a monster that looks like a dragon but isn't a dragon, or a phoenix but isn't a phoenix. This cultivator named Fang Yu should be the person that the Azura from the myriad worlds is pursuing. A god from the myriad worlds? Prince Shui clearly didn't know about the Blood River Lord. He then asked, who is this Fang Yu? How powerful is he that even the deities of the great world are chasing after him? You don't know what's going on in the immortal realms, but this person is no simple character. Not only did he almost destroy the number one power in the immortal Tao world, the heavenly mandate Bright Heaven sect, he also has an expert from the God world with him who killed two God. There's actually someone so powerful in the great world. Remember this person's name. Do not provoke him in the future. His name is Su Fang. Su Fang? Prince Xue felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was dumbstruck and in disbelief. Fang Yu. Su Fang. How could there be such a coincidence? Prince Xue was almost certain that this Su Fang was the Su Fang from the Small World's immortal sealing set. But how could Prince Xue believe him? Aside from his own talent, his current strength was all thanks to the Tyrant Blood Venerable's careful nurturing. In Prince Xue's opinion, to be able to grow to such a level in less than 10,000 years was enough to show disdain for the entire great world. He could be called a peerless genius that no one could compare to. But compared to Su Fang, Prince Xue was nothing. In front of Su Fang, he wasn't even as big as an ant. In an instant, Prince Xue's heart surged with intense shock and disbelief. Then, it turned into jealousy, fear, and even despair. In the Jiang clan, Su Fang must have recognized Prince Xue. Given their enmity in the immortal sealing sect, how could Su Fang let him go? If Su Fang wanted to kill him, even the Tyrant Blood Venerable wouldn't be able to stop him. Seeing Prince Xue's expression, the Tyrant Blood Venerable asked in astonishment, "What? Do you know this Su Fang?" Prince Xue recounted Su Fang's experiences in the small world to the Tyrant Blood Venerable, but he concealed his enmity with Su Fang. The Tyrant Blood Venerable was also shocked. In less than 10,000 years, he actually became a peak expert in the great world? This child Su Fang's cultivation talent and luck are simply heaven-defying. No one in the great world can compare to him. Master, where is that god right now? Why don't you tell him about Su Fang's whereabouts? Prince Xue's deep eyes flashed with ruthlessness. He had to look up to Su Fang's current height, and the enmity between the two couldn't be resolved. The only way was to use that god to get rid of Su Fang. That Azura expert is called the Blood River Lord. He came to the ancient immortal demon battlefield not long ago and sent a message to the human overlords there, asking them to help find Su Fang. However, Su Fang cannot be provoked. There's no need to offend Su Fang just to curry favor with an Azura expert. Su Fang has supreme luck, and even a god might not be able to kill him. No matter what enmity you have with him, don't even think about taking revenge in the future. Who was the overbearing Blood Venerable? He immediately saw through Crown Prince Xue's intentions and decisively shouted, causing Crown Prince Xue to tremble. Now you know what it means to say that there is always someone better than you? You and Su Fang were from the same sect, and your talent was already extraordinary. However, compared to him, you are still too far away. When we return, Master will open the sacred land for you and help you break through to the Tao realm. This will also prevent any conflict between you and Su Fang. Many thanks, Master. Prince Xue was pleasantly surprised by the Tyrant Blood Venerable's words. Whoosh! Su Fang traveled through the void and appeared in the sky above a certain plain. Although this place was still within the Tyrant Blood Venerable's sphere of influence, it was very far away from the Blaze domain. This plain was a boundless desert that stretched as far as the eye could see. It was desolate and extremely hot. The entire desert flowed like water and looked like a vast yellow sea. Once a cultivator set foot in the desert, they would be swallowed without a trace. This should be the quicksand plains. When Su Fang was in the Blaze domain, he had purchased a map of the ancient immortal demon battlefield and determined the name of this plain from the map. It was said that the quicksand plains were originally a vast expanse of material. During the ancient immortal demon Great War, it was destroyed by an ancient mighty figure and transformed into the quicksand plains. Gradually, it became what it was today. Su Fong looked up at the divine sun that seemed to be right in front of him, and made a decision. I'll wait here for the golden crow silkworm to mature and then break through to the yang meridian. When the 54th yang meridian was successfully born, he would be able to dual cultivate with Shu Wanjin and activate the power of the divine mirror. Then, he would go out and find a way to lure out the Blood River Lord and kill him. As for Prince Shui, Su Fong didn't care too much about him. He could easily kill him as easily as killing an ant. Whoosh! Su Fong flew through the air and landed on the quicksand plains. The quicksand plains below him surged and released an astonishing devouring power. It was like a monster that wanted to swallow him whole. Su Fong entered the true dragon realm and turned it into a speck of dust. It fell into the quicksand plains and floated along with the quicksand plains. After entering the true dragon realm's cultivation grounds, Su Fong's thoughts moved. Great monk, come here. Great monk Shangda had obtained Truth Sage's Buddhist cultivation methods and divine abilities, as well as a lot of Buddhist qi. After so many years of cultivation, he had already reached the 7 paths of the Saint Immortal Realm. However, he wasn't considered an expert among Su Fong's subordinate. Great monk, look at this. Su Fong took out the cauldron part of the demon subduing wheel. That's the demon subduing wheel. Ah, it's the demon subduing wheel. The great monk jumped up and shouted. I promised you that I would help you find the demon subduing wheel's cauldron. Now I've fulfilled my promise. Here. Su Fong gave the great monk the cauldron part of the demon subduing wheel. This could be considered to have fulfilled one of his wishes. Thank you, Master. This great monk will be willing to sacrifice my life for Master in the future. I will do my best to serve Master until my death. The great monk was so excited that he spoke incoherently. It's fine if I let you drink and eat meat. Sacrifice your life? I'm afraid there's no way. Scram. Fuse with the demon subduing wheel properly and strive to become a Buddhist supreme as soon as possible. Su Fong scolded with a smile. Buddhist supreme? He, great monk can also become a Buddhist supreme. The great monk grinned and left the training grounds with a red face. Next, Su Fong focused all his energy on nurturing the golden crow silkworm. At the same time, he cultivated the 9 Yang 9 transformations and other cultivation method. He settled down in the time and space cauldron. About 300 years passed by. More than 3,000 years had passed in the time and space cauldron. This was the first time Su Fong had cultivated in seclusion for such a long time. On this day, whoosh, the true dragon world soared into the sky from the quicksand. Then, Su Fong flew out from the true dragon world. After such a long period of cultivation, Su Fong's aura became even more ethereal, as if he had become one with the world. At this time, his strength had reached the peak of the Tao realm. In the 3,000 years in the time and space cauldron, he had swallowed countless pills and spiritual items. This caused his cultivation to finally reach the peak of the great world. His strength had undergone a huge transformation. However, what Su Fong was most excited about was not the increase in his cultivation. After 3,000 years of nurturing, the golden crow silkworm was about to mature. Su Fong took out the golden crow silkworm. The golden crow silkworm that was about to mature was different from before. The surrounding golden light had disappeared, leaving only a 3-foot-long golden cocoon. An astonishing life force and pure yang aura was brewing in the cocoon. The golden crow silkworm's life was extremely short. The moment it broke free from the cocoon, it would use all its strength to spit out silk. This was not ordinary silk, but pure yang energy. Then, the golden crow silkworm would die. The golden crow silkworm's life was for that moment of brilliance. It could be said to be tragic. 9 true 9 yang the golden crow silkworm floated in the air. 3 days later. Hiss, a sound like a sigh came out from the cocoon, instantly spreading through the world. Then, the golden cocoon trembled. A majestic suction force burst out from the cocoon. The divine sun in the sky seemed to suddenly darken. Chapter 1759. Not Good. 9 Truths, 9 Suns. Chapter 1778. Su Fang did not expect that the golden crow silkworm's maturation would cause such a phenomenon when it swallowed sunlight. Such a large commotion could be clearly seen by the material plane where the quicksand plains was located. The quicksand of the quicksand plains contained many earth-type ores. Many cultivators would risk entering the quicksand plains to search for treasures. If the golden crow silkworm's explosion was seen by cultivators, it would definitely attract attention and bring unnecessary trouble. At this time, Su Fang could not care about anything else. He could only wait for the golden crow silkworm to fully mature. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Strands of light from the illusory sun in the sky landed on the cocoon and were absorbed by the golden crow silkworm. About an hour later, the illusory sun in the sky appeared and was completely absorbed by the golden crow silkworm. The cocoon continued to expand, as if it was preparing for an explosion. The golden crow silkworm is about to spit out pure yang energy. Su Fang dispelled his worries and used the power of the world of yin and yang to seal the cocoon. Then, he entered the void and left the material plane where the quicksand plains was located. The phenomenon of the golden crow silkworm maturing and absorbing the sunlight attracted the attention of many people. Another divine sun has appeared. Could it be that the world is going to change again? There is no evil aura descending. Instead, there is pure yang energy. This is not a change in the world, but the birth of a treasure. Only the birth of a treasure would cause such a phenomenon. Many cultivators who were searching for treasures in the quicksand plains saw the illusory sun in the sky. After a moment of shock and speculation, their eyes lit up and they madly rushed towards the place where the illusory sun appeared. Although the illusory sun quickly disappeared, it was still difficult to extinguish the passion of many cultivators for treasures. They madly searched the quicksand. Moreover, the news of the birth of an unparalleled treasure quickly spread out of the quicksand plains to other material planes. The more it spread, the more bizarre it became. In the end, it was said that there was an ancient inheritance left behind by an ancient almighty in a large world. Countless treasure hunters rushed to the quicksand plains. In a moment, the quicksand plains became a treasure-hunting holy land. Tyrannical blood plains. One of the overlords of the ancient immortal demon battlefield, Tyrannical Blood Venerable, lived in an ancient ruin deep in the Tyrannical Blood Plains. Who Prince Shui shuttled through layers of formations and flew out of the sealed space-time deep under the ruins. After more than 300 years, Prince Shui's aura had become illusory. As he looked around, a domineering aura suddenly appeared. At this moment, Prince Shui wasn't at the Saint Immortal Realm any longer, and he was at the initial stage of the Tao Realm. In the ancient battlefield of immortals and demons, Tao Realm cultivators were absolute powerhouses. Moreover, Prince Shui was an early-stage Tao Realm Immortal Venerable, and not just any ordinary early-stage Tao Realm Immortal Venerable. He had only cultivated for such a short period of time, so it was natural for him to be high-spirited and smug. Men, Prince Shui said imposingly. An old man who had reached the Tao realm flew over and swept Prince Shui with divine light. Then, he said respectfully, "Congratulations on reaching the Tao realm, Shao Zun." Prince Shui revealed a proud expression. What major event happened while I was in seclusion? What he was most concerned about was naturally the Su Fang. Thus, he had sent someone to ask about it as soon as he came out of seclusion. The old man switched to a voice transmission. "Shao Zun, not long after you entered seclusion to reach the Tao realm, Azura powerhouses from all over the universe came to the tyrannical blood plains and have been staying here ever since." Prince Shui was quite shocked. Gods actually came to the tyrannical blood plains? The old man continued, "Another major event happened recently. A rare treasure has appeared in quicksand plains, accompanied by the appearance of the illusory sun phenomenon. Many powerhouses have rushed to quicksand plains. Coincidentally, Xiao Zun came out of seclusion at this time. Why don't you go take a look? With your providence, you might be able to return with a rare treasure. A rare treasure has appeared? What rare treasure has appeared to cause the illusory sun phenomenon? Prince Shue's eyes lit up. The old man told Prince Shue about the phenomenon that the cultivators in Quicksand Plains had seen that day. The golden crow silkworm. Crown Prince Shue sucked in a breath of cold air, his eyes filled with intense fear. For the golden crow silkworm, Prince Shue had specially gone to the Jiang clan. Naturally, he had a deep understanding of the golden crow silkworm. The phenomenon that the old man described was not the birth of a rare treasure. It was clearly the phenomenon of the golden crow silkworm maturing and absorbing the light of the divine sun when it hatched. Apart from Su Fang, Prince Shui really couldn't think of anyone else who could have matured the golden crow silkworm in Quicksand Plains. After thinking for a while, Prince Shue's eyes were filled with viciousness. Then, he asked the old man as if nothing had happened, "Where do the Azura powerhouses from all over the universe live?" If he didn't get rid of Su Fang, the one who would die would be him, Prince Shui. The only way was to borrow the hand of a god to kill Su Fang and eliminate all future troubles. As for the warning that venerable tyrant Blood had given him, he had completely forgotten about it. Su Fang, since you matured the golden crow silkworm, you must be in a plain near Quicksand Plains. It would be easy for the Azura gods to find you. I don't believe that even the Azura powerhouses from all over the universe can't suppress you. After obtaining the location of the Azura powerhouse, Prince Shue's lips curled into a smile, revealing a smug and cruel expression. Just as Prince Shue expected, Su Fang didn't go far after leaving Quicksand Plains. That was because the golden crow silkworm had matured. If it was sealed for too long, it would cause a loss of pure yang energy. Thus, Su Fang didn't have time to waste. Whoosh! Su Fang appeared in a star abyss. This place was called the 10,000 Demon Abyss. Unlike the other desolate star abyss in the Great World, the 10,000 Demon Abyss wasn't formed by natural forces. Instead, it was a chaotic space formed during the Great War of the Immortals and Demons. Thus, the abyss wasn't all ruins. There were also many ancient broken continents. In the deepest part of the abyss, there was a broken continent. Because there were countless ancient demon race descendants living there, there was no lack of peak demon saints. There were even peerless big goblin with 1 foot in the demon god realm. There were also ancient beasts and fierce beasts. Although the 10,000 Demon Abyss was within Venerable Tyrant Blood's sphere of influence, it wasn't under Venerable Tyrant Blood's control. It belonged to the demon race. Before the Great Upheaval, the human race often clashed with the big goblin of the 10,000 Demon Abyss. Following the Great Upheaval, countless ancient powerhouses and big goblins were resurrected. The power structure of the Immortals and Demons in the Great War of the Immortals and Demons began to form an alliance. Only then did the conflict between Venerable Tyrant Blood's forces and the 10,000 Demon Abyss gradually subsided. 10,000 Demon Abyss? That's a bit troublesome. Su Fang frowned. He originally planned to find a random material plane and use the pure yang energy of the golden crow silkworm to break through the yang meridian. He didn't expect to come to the territory of the demon race. Time is of the essence. I'll just stay in the 10,000 Demon Abyss to break through the yang meridian. If the big goblin comes to harass me, I'll just suppress them all. Su Fang's domineering aura was apparent. Next, Su Fang released the green-feathered demon emperor into his stomach. Then, the green-feathered demon emperor used his innate ability to travel in the abyss. It took him 3 days to reach the deepest part of the 10,000 Demon Abyss, the material plane. The material plane occupied by the demon race wasn't small. It was equivalent to the heavenly law immortal realm. On the endless material plane, there were mountains and forests everywhere. The natural spirit chi of heaven and earth was abnormally abundant. In some mountains and forests, demon chi soared to the sky. Some of them had even reached the demon saint level, which made Su Fang very shocked. This place was like a shrunken demon realm. Whoosh! The green-feathered demon emperor flapped his huge wings, causing the space to fluctuate violently. He turned into a beam of green light and traveled 100,000 miles in an instant. Along the way, he also alarmed many powerful big goblins. Because the green-feathered demon emperor passed through the territory of some winged big goblin in the air, groups of winged big goblins swooped down at the green-feathered demon emperor with monstrous demon chi. "I'll stay here for a few days. If anyone dares to harass me, I'll devour them." The green-feathered demon emperor stopped on a mountain ridge and unleashed the aura of a peak-stage demon emperor, as well as the aura of the Rock Clan. The winged great demons that were rushing over in the air immediately trembled and turned around in fear. There was a peak-level demon Emperor Black Bear entrenched on the mountain range. It sensed the terrifying aura of the green-feathered demon emperor and hurriedly left the mountain range. Su Fang came to the Black Bear Big Goblin's den. He waved his sleeve and created a gust of wind, sweeping away all the demon chi and stench in the den. Then, Su Fang placed the Fate Shrinking Technique rune outside the den. After he activated it with a seal, the rune burst with the power of fate, blinding the surroundings. Su Fang was still not at ease. He used the Demon Sealing Emperor's heavenly seal to create a powerful formation to seal the entrance of the den. Then, he released the immortal demon monsters, undead lords, Gui, dragon birds, and other powerful experts that could threaten demigods. When Su Fang was nurturing the golden crow silkworm in the quicksand plains, Gui had awakened. He had completely devoured the 9 demonic beasts possessed by Ming Yen. Now, his body was full of poison that could kill a demigod expert. His devouring ability was also extremely shocking. After finishing the arrangements, Su Fang sat down in the depths of the den and took out the golden crow silkworm. The 50th birth of the Yang Meridian and the 6th transformation. Let's do it in one fell swoop. Su Fang settled down for a moment and calmed his heart. Then, he decisively sent the golden crow silkworm into the yin-yang Dao wheel formed by the 53 Yang Meridians. He removed the seal on the golden crow silkworm. Crack, crack, crack. The golden crow silkworm trembled and then suddenly shrank. The cocoon shattered layer by layer and a majestic life force exploded. A 1-foot-long golden silkworm appeared. Chi. A crimson light as thick as a hair shot out from the golden silkworm's mouth. It contained a majestic and sacred pure yang aura. When nurturing the golden crow silkworm, Su Fang used his own blood essence and yang qi to fuse with the golden crow silkworm. Therefore, the pure yang aura and life force that the golden crow silkworm exploded with did not reject Su Fang at all. Instead, it was like a part of Su Fang. The life force quickly fused with his body, and the pure yang aura fused with the yang meridians. Suddenly, a strange movement exploded in the yin-yang Dao wheel. The movement came from the meridian where the 54 yang meridians were located. At this moment, this meridian was filled with yang qi and a shocking power was stirring. 50th yang meridian, I've waited for so long that the flowers are about to wilt. You're finally about to mature. I'm about to step into the 6th transformation of the 9 yang transformation. Chapter 1760. Just as Su Fang was about to successfully form his 54th yang vein, 9 Truths 9 Suns, Chapter 1779. The Quicksand Plains. The appearance of the illusory sun phenomenon and the appearance of a rare treasure attracted countless cultivators to search for the treasure. Even some demon factions entered the Quicksand Plains to join the search party. On this day, a boundless aura of slaughter suddenly descended upon the scorching and desolate Quicksand Plains, covering the entire place. Regardless of whether it was the cultivators, demons, or the big goblin and spirit monsters living in the Quicksand Plains, they all trembled in fear under the supreme aura. Even the constantly flowing quicksand stopped in an instant, as if submitting to this terrifying aura. Two figures appeared in the air, appearing at the place where the illusory sun phenomenon appeared when the golden crow silkworm absorbed the sunlight. One of the figures was the Blood River Lord, who had chased Su Fang all the way here from the immortal region. Following the Blood River Lord was Prince Shui. The Blood River Lord's deep blood-red eyes flashed with a divine light, as if he could see through everything between heaven and earth. Soon, the Blood River Lord's eyes narrowed as he caught a glimpse of Su Fang's weak aura. Lowly existence, no matter how cunning you are, I still manage to find you. Let's see if you'll be as lucky as last time, the Blood River Lord said coldly, his blood-red eyes filled with cruelty and viciousness. Then, the Blood River Lord nodded at Prince Shui and said, "You've done me a great service this time. I won't forget to reward you." Prince Shui said respectfully, "It's my great honor to be able to serve you, my lord. How could I dare to take your reward?" "You're very good. Once I capture Su Fang, I'll definitely reward you. Let's go. This time, even if Su Fang escapes to the end of the world, he won't be able to escape from me." The blood-red light disappeared into the void, and everything in the quicksand plains returned to normal. 10,000 demons abyss. Boom boom boom. Su Fang gathered the yang qi in his 53 yang veins, as well as all the true qi and energy in his body. Like an explosive flood, it furiously attacked the meridian where the 54th yang vein was located. This meridian trembled violently as it brewed and expanded. Boom! The yin and yang Dao wheel vibrated intensely. A pure sunlight quickly swept across from one end of the meridian to the other, then rushed into the meridian that was being attacked. Qi! This meridian suddenly exploded with a profound light and turned into a jade-like meridian. The 54th yang meridian successfully formed. It really wasn't easy. The 54th yang meridian has finally arrived. Su to the 9 yang meru. The birth of this yang meridian was truly not an easy task. The time, energy, and resources required were 10 times more than any other meridian that had been born before, perhaps even more. Su Fang absorbed the cold yin qi from the primordial chaos sacred realm, causing his yang meridian to become even deeper. At the same time, he paid attention to the changes in his yang meridian. Cultivating the 54th yang meridian meant that the 9 yang 9 transformations had entered the 6th transformation. The yin-yang Dao wheel would definitely undergo a huge change as a whole. Just as Su Fang had predicted, the newly born 54th yang meridian began to shift and connected with the 46th yang meridian, forming an irregular circular connection. A total of 9 yang meridian formed the 6th transformation yang meridian. The 6th transformation has begun. Su Fang watched the entire yin-yang Dao wheel change nervously. As expected, the newly formed 6th transformation's 9 yang meridians began to slowly move to the periphery of the 5th transformation's 9 yang meridians, forming a new yang qi space. There were a total of 6 circles of yang meridians, forming a deep spiral pattern of yang qi. It was like the universe, vast and boundless, filled with mystery, and contained endless mysteries of heaven and earth. He waited for the yang meridian to calm down. The yang energy in the 54th yang meridian began to fuse with the vital qi in his body. All the energy surged from the 54th yang meridian like a torrent, rushing to the 1st yang meridian and finally entering the world tree. It was absorbed and fused by the world tree, turning into the power of the yin-yang world. It was released again like a surging river. The circulation of the qi, vital qi, and yang energy in his body not only became extremely fast, but it also made Su Fang feel that this circulation method was like the reincarnation of the heavenly Tao. It brought with it a supreme reincarnation divine power that was endless and endless. The world tree and the 54th yang meridian formed the yin-yang Dao wheel, fusing even more closely. The heaven and earth Tao palace formed showed a kind of cosmic qi, mysterious and profound. With an additional yang meridian, the amount of yang energy that could be stored naturally increased. The weight of the yang energy had clearly increased by a lot. Furthermore, the yang energy in his body had increased to another level, becoming even more unfathomable and filled with divinity. The surging vitality and vital qi in his body had become extremely shocking, and his life force had become even more tenacious. The mysterious supreme law that came from the yin-yang Tao wheel caused Su Fang's yang energy to undergo a miraculous change. It made Su Fang feel like he had transformed, as if he had been cleansed of all impurities. It was somewhat similar to the feeling he had when he had transformed from a mortal to an immortal. After stepping into the sixth transformation, Su Fang felt that his entire person was different. Not only his body, but the connection between him and the world also had a feeling of transcendence. There was a feeling of breaking through the shackles of the world, of not being shackled by the great world, and of being able to roam freely in the world. This feeling, Su Fang felt a wave of shock, followed by a wave of doubt. Gradually, an indescribable ecstasy surged in his heart. Law's pleasantly surprised voice sounded, "Congratulations, you have now stepped out of the shackles of the great world with 1 foot and entered the realm of God." God level? I've already entered the God level? You should be a demigod. Your Tao palace of heaven and earth already has the qualifications of a god, and your physical body has long surpassed the limits of the great world. Therefore, you have 1 foot in the God level. Now, what you lack is cultivation. When your cultivation breaks through the peak of the Tao realm, you will also become a god. Su Fang's heart was enveloped by great joy, excitement, and his heart was brimming with strong confidence. Law also couldn't help but sigh. When I first saw you in the blood prison, you had just ascended to the great world. Less than 10,000 years have passed, and you have already reached the level of half a step into God. I really didn't expect, Law, it's all thanks to your help. The path of cultivation depends on one's own effort. Talent, luck, and Tao heart are all indispensable. External forces and outsiders are always auxiliary. Su Fang, you should be proud of yourself. From being a trash who couldn't cultivate until now, the hardships he had gone through flashed through his mind one by one. Su Fang couldn't help but shed tears. Su Fang, with your current strength, you are already qualified to go to the end of the world and enter the myriad realms. In the great world, there is very little room for you to grow. After dealing with the Blood River Lord, the heavenly mandate Haotsong sect, the demons, and the resurrection of powerhouses, I will leave the great world and go to the myriad realms. Su Fang's heart was filled with anticipation. How many cultivators in the great world didn't want to break through the shackles of the great world and go to the myriad realms? But how many people could truly do it? Moreover, in the myriad realms, there was one person Su Fang couldn't let go of the most, Fairy Xuanxin. There was also the peerless masterpiece that Emperor Tianbao had spent his entire life refining, the divine artifact Heavenly Treasure. Law also looked forward to it. I also hope to see the day you rise to prominence in the myriad realms. Next, Su Fang peeled off a young immortal and entered the ancient crimson space of the origin sacred mirror. As soon as he entered the ancient mirror's inner world, Su Fang immediately felt a sense of freedom. Although he couldn't freely travel through the void like he could in the natural world, he could now fly freely. However, the mysterious and incomparably vast space of the origin sacred mirror, especially the space sealed by the formation, wasn't something Su Fang could fathom. Su Fang's yang immortal flew toward the central spacetime of the origin sacred mirror. The deeper he went, the stronger the shackles became. In the end, he couldn't fly and could only walk. In the end, even walking became extremely difficult. When he arrived at a mysterious formation space, Su Fang's young immortal saw a powerful formation seal in front of him. There are 2 sides to the origin sacred mirror. The red side I obtained contains supreme yang power, while the black side Senior Shu Wanjin obtained contains the ancient power of extreme yin. This formation seal should be the boundary between the two sides of the origin sacred mirror. I wonder what the world on the other side of the formation seal is like. Su Fang couldn't wait to see the world on the other side of the origin sacred mirror. However, no matter how hard he tried, the young immortal was still hundreds of feet away from the seal. He couldn't even take a step forward. This young immortal was on the verge of collapse, let alone break through the seal and see the world on the other side of the formation seal. Senior Su Fang released his consciousness and yang qi into the formation seal. A moment later, a familiar cold qi swept over from the other side of the seal. Then, a mysterious black mirror appeared from the sealed formation void. Then, an ethereal light shone from the mirror, as if it could see through everything in the world. You've actually reached the sixth transformation. A young immortal can enter the central spacetime of the origin sacred mirror. Your heaven and earth Tao Palace has also reached the divine level. I can't believe it. I'm considered a peerless genius in the myriad worlds, but compared to you, even I can't help but envy you. Shu Wanzhen's voice came from the eyes on the mirror. It was still very ethereal, but it was filled with shock and surprise, as well as a hint of jealousy. Senior, can we dual cultivate yin and yang now and activate the power of the divine mirror? Su Fang couldn't wait to ask. After we meet, we can combine our Dharma treasures. Your 9 yang transformations and my 9 yin transformations will fuse. Only then can we truly dual cultivate. However, your 9 yang transformations has reached the 6th transformation. Your power of 9 yang and my power of 9 yin can merge in the central spacetime of the mirror, so you can activate a small portion of the mirror's power. Chapter 1761. Unexpectedly, Shu Wanzhen's next words were like a bucket of ice water poured over Su Fang's head. 9 Truths and 9 Suns Chapter 178. You don't have to be happy too early. The origin sacred mirror is mysterious and powerful, far beyond your imagination. It's not something you can activate with your current cultivation. Now that the divine artifact has not been combined and you have not cultivated the 9 suns 9 transformations to the 9th transformation, the price of activating the mirror is unbearable for both of us. If I'm not wrong, activating the origin sacred mirror in your current 6th transformation will cause you to lose the power of the 9 suns to an unbearable level. It might even endanger your heaven and earth Tao Palace. However, I'm not sure what the exact situation will be. After all, I've never activated the other side of the origin sacred mirror before. The heaven and earth Tao Palace is the foundation of your cultivation. Therefore, unless it's a matter of life and death, it's best not to activate the divine mirror. Shu Wanzhen's ethereal voice sounded from her eyes again. 9 Truths and 9 Suns Chapter 178. You've just formed a yang meridian and have used up a lot of yang energy. Quickly recover your yang energy to its peak state. Then, you and I can dual cultivate. It will bring you unexpected benefit. After Shu Wanzhen finished speaking, the black mirror in the array disappeared without a trace along with the cold air. Su Fang also withdrew the yang immortal and returned to his physical body. Next, Su Fang entered the time cave abode and devoured elixirs, spiritual items, and other resources. At the same time, he absorbed the cold qi from the divine mirror and cultivated the 9 suns 9 transformations to replenish the yang energy he had lost from forming a new yang meridian. About 3 days passed in the time cave abode. Buzz buzz buzz. Su Fang, who was in a state of cultivation, suddenly had a commotion in the mysterious yin-yang diagram formed by the heavenly spill mystic scripture in the depths of his mind. A layer of bloody light that represented a great omen surged out of the diagram. Su Fang's every pore seemed to explode in that instant. An intense sense of danger surged in his heart. Then buzz buzz buzz. The Destiny Tao runes of the life shrinking technique also surged out of his divine aperture and yang immortal. It was as if layers of fog had suddenly parted, and a mirror appeared. A large number of tadpole-like mysterious Tao runes appeared on the surface of the mirror. Su Fang could sense Crown Prince Xue's aura from them, as well as an even denser and more powerful aura from Blood River Lord. The Blood Lord and Prince Xue have arrived at the Thousand's Abyss. How fast! That damned Crown Prince Xue obviously knows my identity. If I had known earlier, I would have killed him back in the Jiang clan. Su Fang's heart shook. Su Fang, Luoli said, it's going to be very difficult to evade Lord Blood River's pursuit this time. His goal is to get me out of here. As long as he can capture me, he won't cause any more trouble for you. Luoli, who was temporarily residing in the Blood Jade, floated over to Su Fang's room in the Immortal's Cave of Time. Luo, you underestimate me too much. Last time, I self-detonated the Immortal Slaying Bow, and then injured the Blood River Lord with the Thunder of Destiny. How could he let me off so easily? Besides, I, Su Fang, am not a weak chicken that can be slaughtered by gods. Just give me a little more time, and I'll be able to activate the Divine Mirror's power. At that time, I won't be avoiding the Blood River Lord's pursuit, but killing him in one fell swoop. Su Fang's domineering aura made Luo unable to retort. He immediately flew out of the Cave of Time and summoned the Wooling Goblin. After devouring the Earth-type essence of the mountain spirit of the heavenly fate Hao Tsang sect, the Wooling Goblin had advanced by leaps and bounds. It was now at the Yao Emperor level, and its Earth-type abilities had also undergone a great transformation. Su Fang stored the immortal demons, undead lords, Gui, and the dragon bird into the true dragon realm, then entered the Wooling Goblin's stomach. He activated his Earth-type divine might and the fate-shrinking technique to conceal the Wooling Goblin's aura. Then, the Wooling Goblin merged with the rocks and rapidly dived underground. After entering the depths of the earth, Su Fang used the art of ethereal enlightenment's art of ethereal myriad laws to communicate with the world's origin of this material continent. With the help of the art of ethereal myriad laws, Su Fang sensed the location of the world's origin, but he didn't summon it. Wooling Goblin, go to the world's origin. Su Fang immediately ordered the Wooling Goblin. It turned out that Su Fang planned to use the world's origin to conceal his aura. In this way, with the help of his Earth-type divine might, the fate-shrinking technique, and the world's origin, even if the Blood River Lord determined that Su Fang was on this material continent in the depths of the 10,000 Demons Abyss, he wouldn't be able to pinpoint Su Fang's exact location unless he destroyed the entire material continent. This material continent was very large, and it was part of the ancient continent. There were countless big goblins living on it, so it wouldn't be easy for the Blood River Lord to destroy this continent. At the very least, he could buy some time for Su Fang to use the Divine Mirror to cultivate with Shu Wanjin. Then, he could activate the Divine Mirror and kill the Blood River Lord at all costs. In the depths of the 10,000 Demons Abyss, whoosh, the Blood River Lord stepped out of the void with Prince Xue. The world's shackles and the natural chaotic energy couldn't obstruct the Blood River Lord at all. That rat should have escaped here. Let's see how he's going to escape this time. The Blood River Lord said coldly. Congratulations, my lord, you've finally found your target. In the depths of the 10,000 Demons Abyss, wouldn't you be able to catch Su Fang as easily as catching a turtle in a jar? Prince Xue praised loudly. He was very pleased with himself. Su Fang, so what if your talent and luck are heaven-defying? I only need to use a few tricks, and you won't be able to escape your fate of being suppressed. Once this Azura God clan expert suppresses you, all your treasures, secret manuals, and resources will belong to me. The Blood River Lord said majestically, since we've found Su Fang, there's no need for you to lead the way. You're weak, and you won't be able to withstand even the slightest shockwave from the battle later. Go. After saying that, the Blood River Lord waved his sleeves, and a blood-red light rolled up, forming a protective godly aura. He wrapped Prince Xue in a streak of blood-red light and shot out of the 10,000 Demons Abyss. Low-level existence, aren't you going to hide from me? The Blood River Lord's blood-red eyes shot out a blood-red light. The evil and strange light seemed to be able to see through everything in the world. The light swept across the material continent, and then the Blood River Lord raised his eyebrows, and a look of surprise flashed in his triangular eyes. Then, he snorted inexplicably. This aura-concealing ability is so powerful that it can even deceive my senses. However, since I'm sure you're on this continent, how can you escape from me? After a moment of silence, the Blood River Monarch's voice was cold and filled with killing intent, and it spread to every corner of the continent. Demons above the demon sage level are to come and greet me within 10 breaths, or die. The next moment, the Blood River Lord's evil and murderous aura instantly enveloped the entire material continent, as if it had fallen into Azura hell. All the living beings on the continent trembled under this terrifying godly aura. The horror of the Azura God clan experts from all over the universe was on full display. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Big goblin in their true forms flew over from all over the material continent. There were a total of 7 big goblins, and 6 of them were demon saints. The last one was an old wolf demon that was hundreds of feet tall. It was a terrifying existence whose strength was comparable to a demigod expert, and it was only one step away from becoming a demon god. God! It's really a god from all over the universe! The wolf demon's eyes were filled with shock and awe. This peerless big goblin, which was considered a supreme existence in the great world, was trembling like a weak chicken in front of an expert from the immortal realm, let alone the other demon clans. The wolf demon transformed into a human elder and cupped his fists at the Blood River Lord. May I know what business you have in the ancient demon realm? This place is called the ancient demon realm? A cultivator had fled to this place and was hiding in the continent. I'll give you half a day to find this person for me. The Blood River Lord said coldly, his voice carrying a supreme will that could not be defied. The ancient demon realm is so big. Isn't finding a human cultivator like looking for a needle in a haystack? Half a year might not even be enough. How can half a day be enough? The demon clans were brutal and unruly to begin with. The Blood River Lord was so overbearing that a mountain-sized ape demon immediately voiced its dissatisfaction. 2 rays of blood-red light suddenly shot out from the Blood River Lord's eyes. When it landed on the ape demon's body, it immediately turned into the sinful blood fire and started burning. Amidst the demon ape's blood-curdling screams, its vital energy and blood were quickly evaporated by the flames of sin. No matter how monstrous its demonic chi burst out, it was unable to extinguish the bloody flames. In the end, its incomparably huge body rapidly withered and turned into ashes. The sinful blood fire released by the Blood River Lord became as thick as liquid. After a while, it was sucked into the Blood River Lord's mouth and swallowed. A peerless demonic ape at the level of a demonic saint, the pinnacle existence of the demonic beast race, was easily devoured by the Blood River Monarch like a pig. This Azura celestial race's master was truly terrifying. Furthermore, the Blood River Monarch had killed a demon saint and devoured his blood and chi. Such a vicious and evil method made even the brutal demon race experts feel a chill run down their spines. Is there anyone else who opposes me now? The Blood River Lord's blood-red eyes swept across the remaining 6 big goblin. All the big goblins, including the half-step demon god Old Wolf Demon, felt the blood in their bodies churn. They could not control it and wanted to leave their bodies. A murderous aura made them tremble in fear. We obey your orders, my lord. The wolf demon cupped his fists at the Blood River Lord. The other big goblins also cupped their fists and bowed. I want to know the whereabouts of this person in half a day. If you take another breath, you will be swallowed by me. The Blood River Lord's indifferent voice made the 6 demon clan experts tremble. They quickly flew to the ground. Chapter 1762. Deep Beneath the Ancient Fey World, 9 Truths 9 Suns. Chapter 1781. A dazzling galaxy formed from the essence of the world appeared in front of Su Fang. Su Fang did not communicate with or merge the world's essence. Doing so would cause a huge commotion on the continent, and would definitely attract the Blood River Lord. He slightly activated the life-shrinking technique, and the power of fate merged with the world's essence of the ancient Fey world. In this way, Su Fang's fate seemed to be connected with the entire ancient Fey world. Even if the Blood River Lord sensed this place, he would not be able to sense Su Fang's existence. Moreover, Su Fang could use the world's essence to sense everything that was happening outside. Then, Su Fang entered the Cavern of Time, and immediately separated a young immortal, and entered the depths of the Origin Sacred Mirror, and released a yang qi and consciousness towards the end of the seal. The central dimension of the ancient mirror quickly reacted. A gust of cold air surged, and a black mirror appeared outside the seal. Shu Wanjin's eyes appeared on the mirror, and her cold voice sounded, "You've recovered your yang qi so quickly. Are you preparing to cultivate with me?" Su Fang said respectfully, "Senior, the situation is very dangerous. Not only do I have to cultivate with you, but I also have to activate the power of the Origin Sacred Mirror." Afterwards, Su Fang told Shu Wanjini about the critical situation that Su Fang was facing. Jiu Zhen Jiu Yang Chapter 1781. This is going to be troublesome. The Azura clan is one of the most powerful clans in the universe. Even if it's just a clone, you won't be able to fight against it. The only way is to activate the Godly Mirror. I didn't expect you to activate the Godly Mirror so soon after reaching the 6th transformation. The consequences will be dire. I have no other choice. You have become my father's disciple. You do not have to address yourself as a junior in the future. Just call me senior sister. Senior sister? Su Fang was used to calling her senior. Now that he changed it, he felt strange. Since time is of the essence, let's not waste any time. Activate the 9 Suns' 9 transformations, and release your 9 Yang power into the depths of the Origin Sacred Mirror. I will also inject my 9 Yin power into the Origin Sacred Mirror. Cultivating with me will bring great benefits to both of us. I hope that my guests and I can help you activate the red side of the Divine Mirror. Su Fang recalled the Yang Immortal back into his body. Then, he focused all his will to activate the 9 Yang 9 transformations. He injected all the Yang energy in the 54 Yang meridians, including the power of the Yin-Yang world in the World Tree, into the primordial Chaos Sacred Mirror. Su Fang felt as if he had been completely hollowed out, turning into an empty shell. The Origin Sacred Mirror was like an insatiable monster. It instantly absorbed all of Su Fang's Yang power, and not a single ripple appeared on the surface of the mirror. Su Fang's consciousness followed the Yang power into the Origin Sacred Mirror's central spacetime. Under the miraculous effects of the Divine Mirror Array, the Yang power quickly condensed into a red mirror. It was identical to the mirror formed by Shu Wanjin's 9 Yin power. The only difference was the color, and it was not as deep and heavy as the black mirror. Once the red mirror was successfully formed, it released an extreme Yang energy, while the black mirror released an extreme Yin energy. Between these two auras, an indescribable attractive force immediately appeared, causing the two mirrors to break through the shackles of the Divine Mirror Array and fuse together. The two mirrors fused into one. One side was black and the other was red. A supreme aura of heaven and earth as one filled the central spacetime of the Divine Mirror. The ancient space that had been silent began to tremble, and some array formations began to operate mysteriously. In an instant, boom! Su Fang's 9 Yang power and Shu Wanjin's 9 Yin power fused and circled each other. On the mirror, the two mysterious Xian Guang, one black and one red, constantly circled and turned into a yin-yang fish that swam and fused with each other. You were in me and I was in you. The cycle was endless. Just like that, Su Fang was immersed in the yin-yang dual cultivation with Shu Wanjin. Time continued to pass. on the continent outside the 10,000 demons' ancient world. After only 2 hours, the big goblin discovered the cave that Su Fong had been in before. Whoosh! The Blood River Lord sent out a ray of bloody light. The array that Su Fong had created, along with the entire mountain, was reduced to ashes in the bloody light. The cave was completely exposed. He actually escaped again. Could it be that this low-level existence has some ability to see through the heavens and predict the arrival of danger? The Blood River Lord's eyebrows furrowed, and there was confusion in his eyes. Su Fong's endless mystiques made this Azura Divine Tribe elite feel that Su Fong was somewhat unfathomable. No wonder even Sang Han died in his hands. This ant is not simple. However, this time, no matter what, I will not let you escape. Otherwise, who knows how much trouble there will be in the future. I will destroy the ancient demon world. Let's see where you can hide. The Blood River Lord's murderous intent was obvious. He was prepared to destroy the entire ancient demon world to force Su Fong to appear. My lord, you must not. In the ancient demon world, there are many bloodline descendants of ancient divine beasts and ferocious beasts. If you destroy the ancient demon world, the demon gods from all over the universe will definitely descend. The wolf demon, who had been waiting respectfully at the side, immediately pleaded loudly when he heard the Blood River Lord's decision. Wouldn't it be easy for an Azura elite to destroy the ancient demon world, which was the size of an immortal realm? Once the ancient demon world was destroyed, how many of the demon clans in the ancient demon world would survive? What, you little wolf demon, are you ordering or even threatening me? Although the demon clans from all over the universe are powerful, the Azura Divine Tribe is not weak either. Why would we be afraid of your threat? The Blood River Lord said domineeringly, but in reality, he was somewhat fearful. Although the Azura Divine Tribe was extremely powerful, they had declined after all. Compared to the powerful and numerous demon clans, there was a large gap. If he really destroyed the ancient demon world, it would incur the wrath of the demon clans in the heavenly realm. It would bring a lot of trouble to the Azura Divine Tribe. How could the Blood River Lord not be afraid? The wolf demon was stunned and hurriedly replied, "How would I dare? My lord, you come from all over the universe and are greatly restricted in the great realm. Once you use up your divine power, it is difficult to replenish it. It is not worth it for my lord to use up your divine power for an ant-like human cultivator." The Blood River Lord fell silent. The wolf demon continued, "I am willing to assist my lord. Even if I have to search every inch of space in the ancient demon world, I will capture this human. Please give me 1 year, my lord. I will definitely offer that human cultivator to you. Half a year. After half a year, if I do not see that human cultivator, I will destroy the ancient demon world. Do not try to escape. If even an ant tries to leave the ancient demon world, I will refine the blood chi of all the demon clans to replenish my divine power," the Blood River Lord said resolutely. Then, his figure flashed and he appeared in the sky above the ancient demon world and sat down. "Damn human. If I capture you, I will pull out your tendons and skin you alive. I will devour your flesh inch by inch." The wolf demon gritted his teeth and exuded a ferocious and brutal aura. The great realm was like this. Whether it was the cultivators, the big goblin, or the demon clan, they were all in awe of the strong and could show their ferocious fangs to the weak. In front of the Blood River Lord, an expert from the god realm, the wolf demon was as docile as a puppy. In his heart, Su Fong was a human cultivator that could be slaughtered at will. Naturally, he could show the brutal nature of the demon clan. The ancient demon world was once again in turmoil. All the big goblin and demons were searching for Su Fong. In the depths of the ancient demon world, Su Fong was still immersed in dual cultivation. About a year later. A year in the Cavern of Time was only a month in the outside world. In the central space-time of the Divine Mirror, the black and red yin-yang fish on the mirror surface suddenly merged together. The power of 9 yin and the power of 9 yang fused together, forming a mysterious power of yin and yang. Then, the power of yin and yang split into two and receded like the tide. A part of it surged out of the divine mirror space and swept through Su Fang's Tao Palace of Heaven and Earth. It was absorbed by the Yang Meridian and the Tree of World. In an instant, Su Fang felt that his Tao Palace of Heaven and Earth, his entire body, and even the entire universe were in a marvelous state of perfection and silence. It was like before the universe was created. It was chaos and silence. It was like an instant but also like an eternity. In this silence, something seemed to be brewing. Once it exploded, it would be the beginning of the universe. This kid's cultivation method not only allowed him to cultivate the Tao Palace of Heaven and Earth, but also turned it into a world. Before, it was just a chaotic world of yin and yang. After this explosion, it will be the beginning of the universe. It will be a real world like the universe. Extraordinary, it's simply extraordinary. In all the realms, only those peerless giants can cultivate a real world in their bodies. Su Fang, a cultivator from the great world, has also cultivated a world. It's simply incredible. Law, who had been paying attention to Su Fang, observed the situation in Su Fang's body and sighed in shock. Even in all the realms, Su Fang is definitely not a fish in a pond. Sooner or later, he will soar into the sky. Maybe he really has the ability to help me get my body back. Moreover, he is a righteous person and will definitely do so. Thinking of the dangers and hardships Su Fang had experienced in order to find the blood jade, Law was touched. Suddenly, the blood jade flashed with a bloody light and Law, who looked like he was cast in blood, flew out of the blood jade. This is terrible. The big goblin has found the place where the origin of the world is located. The divine light in Law's bloody eyes changed instantly. At this time, Su Fang was at the most critical juncture. If he was attacked, the consequences would be unimaginable. He thought for a moment. Even if I am shackled by the Blood River Lord again, I must not let Su Fang be disturbed in any way.